So, Mr. Jin Yu, I've shown you the 2 chaos gems I have prepared for you. Will you help me? Jian Wushuang asked. Jin Yu looked at Jian Wushuang, now renewed with a faint glimmer of respect for the latter's ability to afford 2 chaos gems. The mere ability to be able to afford 2 chaos gems alone proved that Jian Wushuang was hardly ordinary. I will help you, out of respect for the Dragon Wing Governor, and your promise of the 2 chaos gems, said Jin Yu. My thanks to you, Mr. Jin Yu, Jian Wushuang said happily. The person I wish to locate is called Jian Nantian. He is a reincarnator from the ancient world who came here 2,000 years ago. Jian Nantian? Jin Yu nodded. I will do my best. Give me 3 days and you will have your answer. You may stay here if you will, as you await my answer. That is fine with me. Jian Wushuang nodded his head. Let us stay here for 3 days then. I am hardly busy for now, said the Dragon Wing Governor with a laugh. Please see to their accommodations, Yi. Jin Yu commanded lazily with a wave of his hand. As you wish. The gray-robed elder named Yi responded and immediately led them to their rooms. As Jian Wushuang and the Dragon Wing Governor left, Jin Yu stood motionless at the mezzanine with his feet still bare. A sly smile crept over his face. What luck! To think that I can earn 2 chaos gems through so simple a task. Jin Yu murmured gleefully. He had lied to Jian Wushuang, telling him that divulgement of news about reincarnators would result in terrible comeuppance if caught in the act. In truth, the news of reincarnators was not as closely guarded as rumored to be. In fact, the upper echelons of the temple guarded such secrets with merely a lackadaisical zeal. Thus, the leak of information about a single reincarnator would neither alarm the Samsara temple, and nor would Jin Yu need to suffer any punishment. Apart from 2 chaos gems, there is still the Dragon Wing Governor. Jin Yuin broke into a hushed, sinister glee. He conjured a token in his palm and delivered a message. Master Di Yen, I have 2 people currently taking up lodgings with me. I wager one of them might interest you. For the next 3 days, Jian Wushuang and the Dragon Wing Governor stayed temporarily in the castle. Anxious that he would finally secure news of his father's whereabouts, Jian Wushuang seethed with excitement. He grew so nervous that he could hardly calm down and focus on his training. 3 days passed quickly. Jian Wushuang and the Dragon Wing Governor were led back into the Grand Hall where they once again met Jin Yu. Jian Wushuang, there has been an outcome on the errand you have bidden me of, Jin Yu said, looking down at them. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands tightly with hope as he looked at Jin Yu. I've searched for the name of the person you gave me. But no such man exists among all reincarnators of the temple below rank 7, said Jin Yu. No such man exists? Jian Wushuang's face turned. How could it be possible? Are you certain that you have examined the names of all the reincarnators, Mr. Jin Yu? Jian Wushuang asked anxiously. Humph! Jin Yu scoffed indignantly. Are you questioning my honor, Jian Wushuang? The domineering demeanor of their host left Jian Wushuang speechless. Standing beside him, the Dragon Wing Governor turned to him and spoke in a low voice. Be at ease, Jian Wushuang. Jin Yu is a golden-clothed deacon of the Samsara Temple and a warrior of great standing across the Samsara continent. With your promise of reward, I am sure he will do his utmost to see that your bidding is done. His honor is worth this much at least. I apologize for the impertinence, Jian Wushuang muttered, aware that he had overreacted. Mr. Jin Yu, with my companion's promise of so great a reward as 2 chaos gems, I am sure we can agree that he is absolutely certain that his kin must be one of the reincarnators of the temple. Is it possible for other reasons for not being able to find him? The Dragon Wing Governor asked. From his perch, Jin Yu glowered down once more as he answered. I've ascertained that there is no such man among all reincarnators below rank 7. There are only 2 possibilities that can explain this regrettable outcome. First, the person may have become a rank 7 reincarnator like me. Information about him will be kept from me since we are of the same rank, Jin Yu said. Jian Wushuang's expression changed into one of renewed optimism and promise. Yes, that's very likely to be the case. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands excitedly as flurries of thoughts, delighted yet on the brink of delirium, flowed through his mind. My father is a man of great talents. It is possible that he might have become a rank 7 reincarnator. It should be normal that Jean Yu cannot find him. And what of the other possibility, Mr. Jean Yu? The Dragon Wing Governor inquired again. The one other possibility being that he is dead. Indifferent to the weight of his grim message, Jean Yu continued. It is but unfortunate tidings that reincarnators rarely survive the tests of the Samsara Temple. Reincarnators are required to traverse and navigate their way through the countless trials and tribulations of certain death. It is even likely that not even one from the mass of 10,000 reincarnators could survive the grueling and deadly trials. Records of reincarnators who have died are completely erased. Hence, the inability to locate his name. Jian Wushuang, your kin, he hails from the ancient world, you say? He was chosen to be a reincarnator 2,000 years ago. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded his head blankly. It is not yet 2,000 years since he became a reincarnator. Ha ha ha. In spite of that, Jean Yu broke into a giggle. Then he can only be a rank 1 reincarnator since he was drafted from the ancient world. It is impossible for a rank 1 reincarnator to reach rank 7 in less than 2,000 years. Not with the onerous difficulty of the tests of the temple. That would mean that your kin is more likely than not dead. Dead. Jian Wushuang was astounded by shock before he began shaking his head violently in denial. Impossible. That's impossible. His face darkened with despair. He was certain of his father's ability. The difficulties of the tests of the Samsara Temple might be able to defeat most common warriors, but never his father. Be that as it may, I have completed the task as you have bidden me to. I have reported to you the outcome of my errand. You may choose to believe it and you may not, but that is no longer any concern of mine. Now hand me the rest of the chaos gems you have promised me. Jean Yu's boomed as he extended his hand. Jian Wushuang grimaced with anguish and denial. Biting hard, he handed the chaos gems to Jean Yu even though the outcome was too hard for him to swallow. Jean Yu beamed widely as at the sight of the chaos gems. He then looked once more at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang, there is a favor that I might be able to do for you. I can see that you do not approve of the outcome of my finding. Jean Yu said. Ah! Jian Wushuang looked up at Jean Yu incredulously. I am but merely a rank 7 reincarnator. I am only allowed access to information on reincarnators below rank 7. However, I am familiar with a certain rank 8 reincarnator who might be able to help you, for he is able to examine the information of all reincarnators below rank 8. I would not mind enlisting his help if you are agreeable to a reasonable reward. A rank 8 reincarnator? Jian Wushuang's eyes narrowed with doubt. The Samsara Temple was a hierarchical organization. Rank 7 reincarnators could only procure information about reincarnators with ranks below theirs, but not of the same rank. However, information about rank 7 reincarnators was available to rank 8 reincarnators. News about his father might be able to be found by a rank 8 reincarnator if he had indeed made it to rank 7. And what will be the price of enlisting the help of a rank 8 reincarnator? Jian Wushuang asked. Hardly unreasonable. 10 chaos gems. Jean Yu replied, grinning widely. What? The Dragon Wing Governor gasped with disbelief, his expression changing immediately. To think that this insolent pup has the impertinence to dare demand 10 chaos gems from you. As a mere rank 7 reincarnator, he would at most be a rank 3 Dao Master. Under no circumstances, a wretch like him would worth 10 chaos gems. The Gu King snorted. Jian Wushuang's eyes flashed with simmering displeasure, for he, too, could see that Jean Yu was trying to be demanding. The price of 10 chaos gems was so great that not even a Dao Master at the pinnacle of rank 3 could safely agree to such demand. With the treasures left to him by Dao Yuanzi, Jian Wushuang could still manage the outrageous demand of Jean Yu. But he was hardly a naive fool that would tolerate himself being fleeced for nothing. Mr. Jean Yu, will you be able to fully ensure that the rank 8 reincarnator will accede to helping me with my errand if the price of the 10 gems is promised? Jian Wushuang asked. Well, this? Jean Yu's brows furrowed uneasily. If you agree to my terms, I will speak to the rank 8 reincarnator. We share a friendship. There's a plausible likelihood that he will agree. By your words. There is also the likelihood that he will refuse, no? Jian Wushuang asked. Of course. He is, after all, a rank 8 reincarnator who holds greater authority over me. I simply cannot command him to do as I wish. Only he himself will decide. Jin Yu replied. Is that so? Jian Wushuang remarked, feigning a troubled look as he sneered quietly at Jin Yu. He may be truthful about speaking to the rank 8 reincarnator about my plight if I agree to his terms. Then again, he could be lying. He could easily dismiss the matter simply by lying about the reincarnator's refusal to help, and none would be the wiser about his malicious deceit. I see. This Jin Yu does intend to defraud me of my chaos gems. Has he mistaken me for a complete fool? With a cold smile to himself, Jian Wushuang put on an earnest expression and nicely declined. Mr. Jin Yu, it was by an extraordinary fortuitous encounter that I had chanced upon 2 chaos gems. Regardless, I am afraid that is the extent of all I am able to afford. I am afraid I will have to solve my conundrum myself from another direction. Thank you for all your help thus far, Mr. Jin Yu, and have a good day. Really? Jin Yu stared at Jian Wushuang strangely. He muttered to himself, is he telling the truth or not? Despite his suspicions, Jin Yu could only wave his hand scornfully. I see no merit in pressing the issue then. See off our guests, ye. This way, please. The gray-robed elder immediately walked up to them. Jian Wushuang and the Dragon Wing governor shared a thoughtful glance. In muted silence, they readily followed behind the gray-robed elder, who led them out of the castle gates. Watching them leave, Jin Yu left the chamber and walked down into the dungeons of this castle where another great hall, magnificent but yet dark with gloom, was raised underground beneath the foundations of the castle above. At a great distance from ground level, the great hall was far from prying eyes and ears, being guarded by many restrictions and enchantments. Jin Yu crept into the dark and sinister hall. Master Dian, the 2 have just left my castle. They will not be far. You can set off now. Jin Yu spoke into a wall that was embellished with mysterious cracks before him. Are you certain that one of them possesses the bloodline of the winged dragons? Jin Yu? An evil and insidious voice croaked from the other side of the wall. Of that I am certain, sir. Jin Yu nodded with a smile. Ha ha ha. The winged dragon clan. For years I have been seeking for the still-living remnants of this clan ever since its purge so many years ago. I hazard that their number will hardly be more than a handful now. His blood must be very tasty indeed, said the evil voice. Master Dian, the Dragon Wing governor, is a very influential person across the societies of the Samsara continent. There will surely be repercussions once his death is discovered. I am afraid that I might be beset with troubles and inconveniences then. I would like to request for an additional 1/10 increment to my agreed reward. Jin Yu beseeched. Fine. The evil voice agreed hastily. One other thing. There is a young man, a young warrior of the Eternal Realm who was here with the Dragon Wing governor. Please leave the young man to me, Master Dian. Jin Yu added. The Eternal Realm? Humph. So be it. The evil voice promised. Let us commence then. It was not long after Jian Wushuang and Dragon Wing governor had left the castle that 2 figures fleeted out of the gargantuan structure of the castle with one close behind the other. Jian Wushuang was speeding through the air with the Dragon Wing governor just beside him, tearing across the vast expanse of the sky. Jian Wushuang, you have been marked. The Gu King's voice rose suddenly in his mind. What? Jian Wushuang was taken aback by the sudden and startling warning. Someone has secretly branded strange magical marks on you and the Dragon Wing governor, said the Gu King. Magical marks? Jian Wushuang's expression turned heavy. He knew full well how dangerous magical marks could be, having experienced it firsthand more than once. Once marked, one could easily be hunted down by foes who have placed upon him the magical spell. There was no way to hide one's scent save by undoing the magic of the mark. It must be Jin Yu then? Asked Jian Wushuang. Indeed. The Gu King nodded, confirming his suspicion. But his methods are most unusual. Neither you nor the Dragon Wing Governor had noticed when he had placed the spell upon you both. Still, his schemes did not escape my keen observation. Is there any way I can erase the mark? Asked Jian Wushuang. Yes, but it will take at least a day for the magic to be undone. The Gu King replied gravely. At this, Jian Wushuang stopped moving instantly. What happened, Jian Wushuang? The Dragon Wing Governor pulled himself to a stop as he noticed Jian Wushuang stopping strangely. I'm afraid trouble has befallen us, Governor, Jian Wushuang admitted. Trouble? The Dragon Wing Governor's eyes turned wide as his pupils immediately shrank at the shock of the sudden revelation. Just then, a shrill howl that could send even wines quivering rang menacingly behind them. The two companions turned around instantly, witnessing a black and ominous mass of cloud sweeping toward them at an amazing speed. In a flash, it loomed precariously over them. The black clouds dissipated over them, disintegrating as the figure of a person dressed in black revealed itself. Fully cloaked in jet-black robes, it was an old man with black mysterious cracks littered around his gnarly and creased face. The mysterious cracks looked strange and unusual, adding to the already ghastly and malevolent presence of the elder. A terrifying and devilish aura emanated strongly from him. Ha ha ha! Here we have a member of the Winged Dragon clan, one who has become a rank 3 Dao master. The black-robed elder stared intently at the Dragon Wing Governor. His tongue dangled maniacally from his mouth as he licked his lips hungrily. The Winged Dragon clan? Jian Wushuang's brows furrowed questioningly as he peered at the Dragon Wing Governor standing beside him. It is me that he is after, the Dragon Wing Governor muttered as he narrowed his eyes. Far and wide I've traveled the Samsara continent. For so many years I have consumed and feasted on the flesh of countless bloodlines. But never have I sampled the taste of one of the winged dragon bloodline. At any rate, I will have you today. The black-robed elder grinned wickedly. The next instant, he transformed himself into a dark gossamer apparition, hurtling towards the Dragon Wing Governor swiftly. Jian Wushuang was completely been overlooked as if he never existed. Damn! The Dragon Wing Governor's expression changed at the sight of the black wraith-like mass charging at him. He could feel the staggering presence of the savage old man that left him frozen with panic. The elder was undoubtedly a rank 3 Dao master, one who wielded incredibly powerful strengths. A fear he never once felt crept into his heart, paralyzing him with fright and hysteria. It was a sensation of intense fear that tingled from the blood of the winged dragon in his veins. It was like the panic by a prey when was stalked upon by its predator. He is after me, Jian Wushuang. Leave me and run. The Dragon Wing Governor shouted out to Jian Wushuang frantically as he turned into a crimson lightning bolt that immediately shot into the air and fled. The Dragon Wing Governor had escaped without even a fight? Jian Wushuang was slightly surprised. Jian Wushuang had noticed that the black-robed elder was a rank 3 Dao master, as was the Dragon Wing Governor. There should still be ample chance for a fight, for they were of equal rank. The differences between their strengths would hardly be huge. Humph! He has made a right choice. The Gu King's voice rose suddenly. Unless I am very much mistaken, the old man in black possesses the bloodline of the Sky-Devouring clan. This clan is well known in the eternal chaotic world for being a fierce population that lives on the essence blood of exotic beasts. Common exotic beasts will be struck with a strange sensation of innate panic at the sight of one of the Sky-Devouring clan, like how a prey would freeze with extreme fear when encountering a predator. With the extreme stress and anxiety inflicted upon the governor, no amount of strength will be able to help him defeat the old man in black. The battle has been lost even before it begun. Is that so? Jian Wushuang wondered, bewildered and amazed. Then again, the kins of the Sky-Devouring clan are rarely seen even in the eternal chaotic world. I didn't expect to see one of the Sky-Devouring clan here in this world. The Gu King mused with interest. At the same time, Jian Wushuang noticed that the figure of the black-robed elder shook violently. A huge pair of wings, black, strong and webbed, sprouted from his back suddenly. With his speed doubled, the old man shot through the air with his wings flapping relentlessly, trying to catch up to the dragon wing governor. Ah! One of the sky-devouring clan that possesses the heredity of bats. Their lack of great strength is compensated by immense speed. The dragon wing governor is in danger. The Gu King clicked his tongue in admiration. Jian Wushuang's eyes narrowed. He too could see that the governor was in a desperate fight for his life, but he had not made any move to help his companion, because he sensed that their enemy numbered more than one. Would you not show yourself since you've come? Jian Wushuang called with his voice spread around. As his voice began to trail off, the air near him shimmered, revealing a handsome man dressed in a robe of golden silk. And how can I be of assistance, Mr. Jinyu? Jian Wushuang asked as he regarded the handsome man coldly. The man, beyond all doubt, was none other than Jinyu. Ha ha ha, nothing. I'm only curious to know how could a mere and eternal realm youngling as you could so nonchalantly produce 2 chaos gems. Let me guess, you still have more, right? Jinyu grinned thinly. Yes, I do. Jian Wushuang nodded indifferently. Overjoyed, Jinyu continued, grinning widely. 1 chaos gem is more than equal to the entire fortune of a rank 3 Dao master. Would there not be dangers if you were to keep such fortune with you? Why would you not allow me to guard them in your stead? You are right. Such fortune is not safe with me. Jian Wushuang murmured. With a flick of his wrist, the unique glow of more than 10 gems radiated brightly as they spewed from the mouth of his sleeves and hovered in midair between them. Jinyu felt his heart throbbed, beating with an anxiousness of greed and yearning at the sight of the riches before him. Without a doubt, these were all chaos gems. The brat has an entire trove of them. Jinyu felt his body quivered with excitement. The chaos gems are right here, Mr. Jinyu. If you want them so badly, why don't you come and claim them? Jian Wushuang said in a soft voice, the edges of his lips twisting into a suggestive but yet devilish grin. I see. I will just be done with all the theatrics then. Jinyu smiled wickedly. He waved his hand, summoning a strong gust of blowing wind that swept towards the chaos gems suspended in stasis, threatening to whisk them away. The gems floated lazily in the air. The strong currents of air surged at them, ensnaring them and buffeted them towards the direction of the waiting Jinyu. Jinyu could not help feeling overjoyed and jubilant at the impending horde of riches rolling at him. But just then, whoosh, like a ghastly phantom, Jian Wushuang emerged in front of him abruptly. There was nothing but cold fury glinting in Jian Wushuang's eyes. He brandished the Blood Mountain sword, channeling an immense amount of ancient god power that churned wildly in his blade, as Jian Wushuang readied himself for an assault so powerful and terrible. Humph! With a loud snort that thundered forth, Jian Wushuang swung his blade with rage at his foe. The stroke, with a force that tore the void asunder, arced dangerously at Jinyu. Unperturbed by this, Jinyu scoffed with disdain. You dare unleash your feeble might at me? You, a merely weakling of the eternal realm. Heeding at Jian Wushuang's incoming attack with contempt, he flailed his sleeve, throwing forth a translucent flash of light, an auric blade that smote at Jian Wushuang's sword. It was a stroke that Jinyu casually cast forth, yet it held enough force to easily annihilate any warrior of the eternal realm. Not Dao masters of rank 1, be it a common rank 1 or one who was close to reaching rank 2, could hope to escape unscathed. He meant to put Wushuang to death, and he was clearly certain that the force of his stroke was enough to complete the deed. Therefore, Jinyu did not cast even a glance at his quarry after performing his lethal reprisal. He was confident that the stroke would kill Jian Wushuang. What happened next, however, left him in complete shock and disbelief. What? Jinyu blurted out. Jinyu never would have thought that the auric blade he unleashed would be dispelled. His gaze had diverted to the pile of chaos gems still hanging in the air. He had guessed that Jian Wushuang, at most, would be able to parry the ethereal blade that he conjured, if he was lucky to survive his deadly stroke. But he could feel it. His auric blade had barely hit Jian Wushuang's blade, when the sheer might of the sword essence released by Jian Wushuang had disintegrated the auric blade. With his sword essence alone, he had undone the magic of my auric blade. Is he so powerful? There was a brief flicker of horror that flashed in Jin Yu's eyes. He immediately waved his hand and summoned another auric blade, crimson red in color, that shot from above to defend him. Bang! A deafening bang resounded, sending ripples of shockwaves sweeping into all directions. Immediately, Jin Yu felt a tremor passing through him. He heard a strange groan from his body before he was instantly thrown off his feet by the residual forces from the earlier clash erupting from his body as he was thrown backward. He was thrown so far behind for hundreds of miles until he finally stopped. How is this possible? Jin Yu looked at Jian Wushuang in shock. He was one of the proud and esteemed rank 7 reincarnators of the Samsara Temple. Yet, here he was, being ignominiously thrown back like a rag doll during a fight against a mere wretch of the Eternal Realm. A mere wretch of the Eternal Realm. Eh? Jian Wushuang looked into the distance, casting his sight as far as he could at Jin Yu, who was hundreds of miles away, with astonishment. Most of the rank 7 reincarnators of the temple are Tao masters who have reigned the pinnacle of rank 2. I suppose Jin Yu is one of the few who have reached rank 3. Be that as it may, he is but only a Tao master who has barely grazed the threshold of rank 3. Such strength is hardly worth any notice in the face of yours, the Gu King remarked. Jian Wushuang instead looked far into another direction. Far away in another direction, Jian Wushuang could sense that the black-robed elder had caught up to the Dragon Wing governor and was engaging him in a fierce battle. The merciless exchange of blows among them was so destructive that even Jian Wushuang could feel the quiver in the air around him. The governor is in great trouble. I have to finish off Jin Yu as soon as possible and assist him. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes and dashed toward Jin Yu instantly. How is it possible that an Eternal Realm youngling wields such power? Jin Yu was gathering himself when Jian Wushuang had already appeared in his presence. At the same time, crack! An ear-splitting crack reverberated through the air. A pale purplish lightsaber had appeared before him without him noticing. What's this? Such impossible speed! Jin Yu was astonished. He instantly threw himself backward, frantically waving his saber as he tried desperately to fend off any incoming attacks. Out of fear and panic, he was unable to concentrate his powers into the blows he earlier cast. But being well prepared this time, he mustered his powers and executed a blow with all his might, hewing into the air with a force so great that a huge ray of light tore through the air from his blade with the semblance of a dazzling river of light. Clang! There came a loud clang of steels gnashing against each other. Jin Yu was thrown back once more, only this time blood trickled from the edge of his lips, adding to the already pitiful state of his demeanor. Am I being soundly trampled? Jin Yu gasped to himself, astounded beyond measure. He did not know that what Jian Wushuang had performed was the second sword formation of the ninth heaven sword formation. That, with the abilities of the blood-killing plate armor fully activated, Jian Wushuang could match the strength of a Tao master at the pinnacle of rank 3. As a Tao master who has barely grazed the verge of rank 3, Jin Yu would most undoubtedly be beneath Jian Wushuang in strength and power. Crack! Once again, the pale purplish lightsaber defied both the laws of time and space and appeared before Jin Yu. Such speeds are impossible. Jin Yu panted, his face turning pale with fright. The greatest strength of the ninth heaven sword formation was, after all, in speed. The second sword formation, otherwise known as the flash sword formation, allowed its user to traverse the distances of thousands of miles in an instant, an ingenuity that was worthy of its name. Overwhelmed by fits of panic and fright, Jin Yu flailed his sword wildly, trying desperately to fend off the menacing lightsaber. Again and again he resisted the blows cast by Jian Wushuang, and each time he was thrown backward, his internal wounds growing increasingly severe as his strength and power slowly spent, as was his speed. Death was upon him now. A fear that he had never known crept slowly into him, ensnaring what was left of his sanity. Never would he have believed that a mere warrior of the Eternal Realm would be able to strike such intense fear into him. This sword formation, its powers, its swiftness, cannot keep up. I cannot. Jin Yu cried manically, looking as if he was on the brink of madness. Jian Wushuang, stop. Stop. Your chaos gems. Promise, I will covet of them no longer. And I promise you I'll help you to persuade the rank 8 reincarnator I mentioned to track down your father. Please stop. Please just stop. Stop right now. Heeding nothing of his desperate pleas, Jian Wushuang continued unleashing his brutal onslaught with the ninth heaven sword formation. Ridden by steel and pain, Jin Yu's life inched closer to death. No. No. Jian Wushuang. I am a golden-clothed deacon of the Samsara Temple. A rank 7 reincarnator? You can't kill me. You cannot kill me, Jian Wushuang. You will be visited upon by the consequences of your actions. Wait and see. Just you wait and see. Ha 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 ha. Jin Yu's terrible and painful howls and shrieks of pain slowly subsided, replaced with delirious cries and roars of his final ounces of defiance. Regardless of his foe's plight, Jian Wushuang mercilessly continued with the execution of his blows to rain death upon his adversary, wearing a blank expression of utmost indifference and callousness. Before long, Jin Yu, a once great golden-clothed deacon of the Samsara Temple and a rank 7 reincarnator, fell to his doom under the blade of Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang waved his hand and whisked Jin Yu's interspatial ring with an unknown current of air into his grasp, before he pocketed the ring with a cold and stern look on his face. Ridiculous. My earlier courtesy to you was due to my need of your assistance. Your arrogance and haughtiness I have endured, despite your attempt to fleece me, because of your standing as one of the golden-clothed deacons of the temple. Yet you dare to attempt murder only because I have eluded your devious scheme? You must have mistaken me for a useless fool. Jian Wushuang reflected quietly, his appearance cold with fury. Throughout their encounter, Jin Yu had shown him not even an ounce of respect, wearing an insufferable air of smugness and pride since they first met at his castle. He had even made unreasonable demands and had tried to defraud him out of his greed. These had all been tolerated by Jian Wushuang with an atypical patience. Yet, now Jin Yu had tried to murder Jian Wushuang after he had left his castle because of the chaos gems the latter possessed. Never would Jian Wushuang tolerate this insolence and contempt any longer. Jin Yu's standing and influence in the temple meant nothing to Jian Wushuang. Being a brash person that he continually was and one who has a blatant disregard for niceties, not even the threat of reprisals from the temple would dissuade him for executing the impudent wretch of Jin Yu. With the deed complete, Jian Wushuang lingered no longer. He took into the air, speeding toward the other direction. There, he knew another fierce battle was taking place. The Dragon Wing governor was at a severe disadvantage and his very life hung on a precarious balance. At another site of a battle. Ha ha ha! Dragon Wing governor, waste your energy no more. There is no escaping my clutches. Your flesh shall be a pleasure to my palate. The essence blood of the Wing Dragon clan might not be the purest, but still, it should be no less satisfying to my Epicurean zeal. The gray-robed elder licked his lips fervently. He flailed his arm, casting forth a force that struck the Dragon Wing governor and sent him staggering backward, injured. You evil swine! Patches of blood stains scattered around the robes of the Dragon Wing governor with blood still oozing from the wounds around him. Despite his miserable appearance, he was still stout of heart, unwilling to give up until his last. This man possesses a bloodline that has a strange predisposition that keeps me restrained. I might have able to fight equally against him if only I can summon the full use of my powers. Yet, a strange, inherent fear overwhelms me, putting a check to my strength that I can use only 7/10 of my full abilities. The Dragon Wing governor thought, distraught and anger at his weakness. He had been troubled and tormented ever since his battle against the gray-robed elder began for being unable to fully put to use his complete strength. Such was the might of the Sky-devouring clan, the very reason for their notoriety and fame across the eternal chaotic world. The dominion wielded by the Sky-devouring clan over the rest of the populations made it one of the most powerful races of population in the eternal chaotic world. Still, this authority affected only the races or clans of bearing the bloodlines of common exotic beasts. Those who possess stronger and more potent bloodlines, such as the bloodline of the imperial ancient gods as born by Jian Wushuang, would hardly be subdued by this ability. What should I do? He is so quick that I cannot outrun him. Yet, I am powerless against him in battle. Am I to meet my end here on this day? The Dragon Wing Governor was not willing to resign himself so easily to fate. Just then, the figure of a young man tore swiftly through the air and stopped before him. Jian Wushuang. The Dragon Wing Governor gasped upon realization of Jian Wushuang once he saw clearly who it was. But he immediately frowned with angst and doubt. It was apparent that the gray-robed old man wished only him and not Jian Wushuang. The latter should have earlier heeded his advice and flee as fast as he could. Yet, here was Jian Wushuang, throwing himself into the perilous embrace of death. Governor, are you safe? Jian Wushuang glanced at the Dragon Wing Governor. Why did you not escape, Jian Wushuang? The Dragon Wing Governor asked in a deep voice. Why should I? Jian Wushuang replied with an unfazed ease, his gaze shifting towards the gray-robed elder. The old man instantly froze at the sight of Jian Wushuang arriving. How is it that you are still alive? The elder asked with astonishment and surprise. Where is Jin Yu? Together, he and Jin Yu had earlier mounted the assault on Jian Wushuang and the Dragon Wing Governor. They had both agreed that the elder would attack the Dragon Wing Governor while the youngling of the Eternal Realm would be left to Jin Yu. It was expected that no mishaps should have come to Jin Yu as he would be dealing with a weakling of the Eternal Realm. Yet, the youngling was now before him, still very well alive. But what of Jin Yu? Jin Yu? Ha ha ha. Surely you are hardly a fool, elder? Do you not know where he is? Jian Wushuang sneered playfully. The elder's eyes narrowed with suspicion, and he sensed Jin Yu's fate. Have you slain him? The elder asked with a growl. Naturally. Jian Wushuang confirmed with a cool nod. Looks of disbelief and amazement flashed upon the faces of the gray-robed elder and the Dragon Wing Governor at the shocking revelation. A mere warrior of the Eternal Realm was able to slay a rank 7 reincarnator of the Samsara Temple? Is this even possible? Jian Wushuang, you? The Dragon Wing Governor was ridden with great amazement that he could hardly speak. Say no more. Let us first deal with the old senile before any further prattle. Jian Wushuang flashed a wink at the governor. Agreed. The Dragon Wing Governor nodded heavily, still unable to shake off the torpid lethargy of the stupefying awe. I may not know how could you have slain Jin Yu, you mongrel pup, but I am neither he, nor I am as feeble as he is. Defy me, and you taste death itself. The gray-robed elder growled menacingly, but he struck immediately without mercy. The elder cast forth his stroke, a stroke that looked so simple and powerless as a casual pat. So casual it seemed, yet the stroke had conjured a huge black hole that spanned hundreds of miles wide in the air, bearing a powerful force that threatened to rip and tear at everything that it drew to itself. The huge void of darkness bore swiftly down upon Jian Wushuang. Watching this, Jian Wushuang's lips curled with contempt as he took one step forward. The first finger of the ancient god. The barrier-breaking stroke. A churning mass of ancient god power gathered in Jian Wushuang's hand as his outstretched arm glowed slowly in dark gold. He pointed his finger towards the incoming eddy of darkness. Rumble! The sky burst into a loud, groaning rumble as a gigantic finger of gold stretched from nowhere and struck furiously at the colossal black hole. Bang! There was a huge, deafening bang that rocked the earth and shook the mountains. The terrifying shockwave rippled and swept with a destructive force, ripping apart the void, pounding all floral and vegetation on the ground into dust and filth. Jian Wushuang's body trembled as he staggered backward. With each step he careened, he fell thousands of miles behind. You are hardly weak yourself, old man, Jian Wushuang muttered as his eyes flickered with cold fury. The stroke that he had just performed was, in fact, his full strength. But the old man was able to match him without being on the defensive. It was beyond any doubt that the old man was slightly above him in power. With the progress I've made recently, especially the Star River secret skill that I have managed to enhance to the 30th level. I should be able to match the strength of a Dao Master at the pinnacle of rank 3. But this old man was able to subdue me by his sheer raw power. Such is the power of true rank 3 Dao Master, I see. Jian Wushuang thought. There were differences in each rank of a Dao Master's progression that distinctively varied in terms of power and strength. Rank 3 Dao Masters, for instance, were divided into 3 separate levels: elementary, advanced, and peak. Jin Yu, being a hair's breadth away from reaching rank 3, was merely a rank 3 Dao Master of elementary proficiency, one who could even be seen as ineffectual, even amongst the rest of those with elementary proficiency. The Dragon Wing Governor had turned into a rank 3 Dao Master of advanced proficiency ever since he had completed the mastery of his secret skill with the help of the Dragon Heart Elixir. During his time in the Tang of the East, Jian Wushuang's strength was a match with a rank 3 Dao Master of advanced proficiency. He would hardly be able to hold his own in a match against Master Ku. But his strength had risen in recent years, most notably the mastery of the Star River secret skill. His strength was now equal to a rank 3 Dao Master who was at the pinnacle of advanced proficiency, only inches away from peak levels. The gray-robed elder's ability to subdue him with sheer raw strength meant that he was a true Dao Master at the peak proficiency of rank 3. His powers paled only slightly, if not on a par, when compared to the ilk of Emperor Shao and Emperor Yun, who were very close to the Holy Master level. Such was a might that Jian Wushuang himself would also have to be wary of. Jian Wushuang was still in the midst of beholding the greatness of the elder's strength. But the evil old man's mind was troubled and disturbed. This wretched pup's powers. A mere eternal realm fledgling could wield such powers against me. My powers have barely been able to subdue him. Wait, that power he just used. Is that the bloodline power? Could it be that he belongs to that race of population? Yes, there is no questioning. I can sense the strength of that potent bloodline in him, and one of incredible standing and bearing within their ranks. Things would indeed be vexing and bothersome if that very race of population decides to interfere. Not even the gray-robed elder could resist a creeping fear slinking into him at the notion of that very race. They were one of the most powerful races of populations on the Samsara continent. You can never hope to match my powers, brat. Leave now while you can, the elder uttered as he cast a cold glance at Jian Wushuang. Ridiculous. You seem to imply that you can easily kill me like how you raise a finger. Show me if you dare. Jian Wushuang taunted without fear. A faint smile lined across his face. Very well. It is you who seeks death on your own volition. I am not to be blamed. The elder hissed as his eyes flared murderously. The elder knew that he would only have to ensure no loose ends were left, and he would not have to worry of vengeful reprisals from that very race. Humph! With a furious and contemptuous snort, the mysterious runic symbols on the face of the gray-robed elder began to shine with a dark, glowy luster. The evil and sinister illumination grew, slowly enveloping him whole, bathing him fully in the faint brightness. The elder spread his bat-like wings to their entirety, his figure too growing in size. In mere seconds, the gray-robed elder had morphed into a hulking giant, bearing an uncanny resemblance to that of a monstrous bat. Jian Wushuang looked with his eyes wide at the spectacle of the bat-like giant before him. Ha ha ha! Remarkable! His secret skill allows him to manifest the primeval form of his bloodline. The Gu King said. The blood-red eyes of the giant black bat flashed with malice, and it took into the sky with tremendous speed like a lightning bolt. Screech! The gigantic bat emitted a cry that shook all heaven and earth. With the fierce and shrilling cry came a powerful sonic wave with effects that would disorient foes, and enemies rushed and swept towards Jian Wushuang. Ah! This is vexing, Jian Wushuang muttered, his face turning gloomy as even he was discombobulated himself. Suddenly, the huge black bat reappeared over Jian Wushuang with the intensity of a lightning strike, baring its fangs ravenously at him. So fast was its blitzing assault that its jaws snapped and its fangs sank deep into Jian Wushuang's chest as the bat clenched him in its vice-like grip before he could recover himself. The giant bat mustered its strength for a fatal bite, unleashing a powerful and terrifying force. Jian Wushuang, the dragon-wing governor, cried with distress and great astonishment. Crack! There came an abrupt groan from between its jaws. The pupils of the black bat contracted fiercely all of a sudden, laced with horror and panic. Immediately, from its throat, the bat spat out Jian Wushuang and lurched backward. The figure of Jian Wushuang was belched out violently, along with a broken half of one of the bat's fang. The fang, without no doubt, belonged to the giant bat. But it was broken when it was thrown out of the monster's mouth. The monster morphed by the elder had attempted to clamp its jaws upon Jian Wushuang, but only to have its fang broken instead? The dragon-wing governor stammered, dazed and bewildered. The giant bat had retreated some distance away to safety. It shrank and returned into the form of the elder in gray robes, whose eyes regarded Jian Wushuang with fear and horror. I. The gray-robed elder grimaced with agony and pain as well as the panic that now gripped him. He had morphed into his strongest form, used his greatest might, and had used his most powerful attack. It was an attack which would have even shredded a true rank 3 Dao master into nothing but globs of lifeless flesh, viscera, and blood. With great effort he had exerted great force, yet not only Jian Wushuang was hardly hurt, it was the elder himself who had got injured. This is impossible. Not even a powerful Dao master of that race would be able to withstand the force of my bite, much less damaging my fangs. Unless... The gray-robed elder stared at Jian Wushuang, finally noticing his blood-red robes. Twice he had struck, most notably his recent attack in the form of a monstrous bat. Nonetheless, the Jian Wushuang's blood-red robes remained intact, creaseless and wrinkleless. The blood-red robes he wears must be a treasure. It's a potent treasure of protection. The gray-robed elder muttered, understanding finally. Jian Wushuang taunted him with a sneer. I see your fangs are no less softer than even my body, old man. Jian Wushuang, the dragon-wing governor, approached him and spoke to him. I've sent a word to a friend of mine. He'll come to our help. Oh, Jian Wushuang remarked, his brows twitching dramatically. He turned to the gray-robed elder and shouted, Did you not hear, you old senile? Why are you still here? Do you intend to bite me again? Come if you will, we will see how many more fangs you can afford to lose. The older man's face grew dark with suppressed rage, but there was nothing he could say to retort. Never would he dare to venture another bite on Jian Wushuang once more. The young knave's strong defensive capabilities makes it impossible for me to kill him. More so with his remarkable strength. It's impossible for me to kill the dragon-wing governor, now that he is here. The old man deliberated over his decision, finally relenting and gave up. What a pity. It seems that today I won't have the chance to relish the taste of essence blood of Winged Dragon Clan. Consider yourself fortunate, you young knave. The gray-robed elder licked his lips and shot a hateful glance at Jian Wushuang. But don't be conceited. Jin Yu is a rank 7 reincarnator of the Samsara Temple with considerable influence and allies. With his death, many will hunt for your blood to avenge him. Not even your race will be able to defend you. Just you wait. With a final look at Jian Wushuang, the gray-robed elder snorted furiously and vanished into thin air with a swing of his sleeves. Jian Wushuang and the dragon-wing governor watched as the older man vanished, showing no intentions of pursuing him. They both knew full well that the gray-robed elder wielded greater strength over them both. They would never be able to prevent his flight. Finally, he's left. The dragon-wing governor breathed heavily, relieved. It was not until the old man had fully disappeared that the panic that throbbed at his heart began to calm and subside. Thank you, Jian Wushuang. It was by your help that I was able to survive this ordeal. The governor expressed his gratitude sincerely. It is my pleasure, Master Governor. I have enjoyed your hospitality and your advice for the 3 years of my stay at your residence. Jian Wushuang replied with a smile. The dragon-wing governor was instead faintly surprised before he continued weakly. Nay, I've been conceited and vain. You have great strength, much greater than mine, yet I tried to give you instructions and advise you. This is The Dragon Wing Governor's voice faltered as he could only sigh with somberly. Feeling that he owed Jian Wushuang for his gift, he had tried to return the favor by giving him instructions and advice to help him improve his swordsmanship. Trying to advise Jian Wushuang as an elder, he under the impression that Jian Wushuang was indeed a mere youngling of the eternal realm, believing himself to be qualified to counsel, instruct and advise the young warrior. It was not until today that he finally realized that the young warrior was, in fact, a stronger warrior than he was. The old senile has left, Governor. There is no longer any need for your friend to come, Jian Wushuang said. Indeed, I've sent him a message. The Dragon Wing Governor replied and eyed Jian Wushuang strangely. Jian Wushuang, are you truly of the eternal realm level? About this, Jian Wushuang rubbed his nose awkwardly before he muttered, let's have this conversation when we reach the city. Agreed. The Dragon Wing Governor assented with a nod. With that, Jian Wushuang immediately set off for the Dragon Wing City with the Dragon Wing Governor. Back at the governor's mansion of the Dragon Wing City, Jian Wushuang and the Dragon Wing Governor sat together and began their talk. Unless I am very much mistaken, Jian Wushuang, you're not a native of the Samsara continent. No, the Dragon Wing Governor spoke with a thoughtful smile. Why do you think so? Jian Wushuang asked with surprise. It would have been impossible for a person of your potential to remain unknown in the Samsara continent. This would only mean that you must be from the outside of the continent. You are a warrior from the Void continent. I wager. The Dragon Wing Governor hazarded a guess. You are quite perceptive, Master Governor. Jian Wushuang couldn't help grinning and admitted truthfully, indeed, I come from the Void continent. I am here only to seek for the close kin of mine. It is as I expected. The Dragon Wing Governor remarked with a smile. That is why I have been communicating with others to help you ascertain the matter. Jin Yu had spoken the truth. His failure of securing information about your kin would mean that your close kin could either have risen above rank 7, or he might already be dead. Then again, I dare say there is no way you would readily accept the second result. That leaves you with only one option. You will have to find a rank 8 reincarnator of the Samsara Temple. Rank 8 reincarnators are Tao masters at the pinnacle of rank 3. Even amongst the horde of warriors that throngs the Samsara Temple, there are but only a handful of warriors of such caliber. One would hardly expect to be able to even catch a glimpse of such elusive individuals. Even with my extensive influence, I am afraid I will not be able to help you in this errand. You have much to delve on your own from this point now. The Dragon Wing Governor acknowledged his regret for his inability to assist Jian Wushuang. I understand. Jian Wushuang nodded gently. Then he said, nevertheless, there is no longer need for hurry since my father is not among the reincarnators below rank 7. The large and wide Samsara continent teems with numerous warriors. I can travel around while looking for him. Reincarnators of the Samsara Temple did not have to worry much about their own safety once they had reached the level of rank 6. Rank 7 reincarnators were at an even higher level, which made it more difficult to kill them. His father would surely be safe if he has surpassed rank 7. Thus, there would be hardly any need for haste. Where are you going next? The Dragon Wing Governor asked. Well, I did liberate the warrior slave from the gladiator's arena who is of the Rock Demon clan. I was once indebted to another great warrior of their clan. I intend to go there first. Jian Wushuang said. When do you intend to set off? The governor pressed on. Now, Jian Wushuang said. I see. In that case, I will delay you no longer. The governor smiled, waving his hand as he conjured 2 magical tokens. Here are 2 tokens. One of them is my message token. Send word to me at need. I will do my utmost to have you as best I can. The other token is the most detailed star map of the Samsara continent available. 9/10 of the territories of the Samsara continent is mapped upon it. I think it would be useful to you. Thank you very much, Master Governor. Jian Wushuang replied. He accepted gladly the 2 tokens and bid his farewell to the Dragon Wing Governor. I shall hope that we will be able to meet again, Master Governor. On the same day, Jian Wushuang began his journey to the bastion of the Rock Demon clan with Qing Bin with him. Gliding over the swords of a broad and wide plain, Jian Wushuang pored over the star map that was given to him by the Dragon Wing governor. It is still a great distance between here and the region of the dwellings of the Rock Demon clan. With hardly any usable wormholes on the Samsara continent, we will have to traverse over the entire stretch on foot. Given our traveling speed, it'll take Qing Bin and me at least 5 years to complete the journey. Jian Wushuang murmured to himself. 5 years was hardly a long time for Jian Wushuang now. In the coming days, I will delve into the studies of sword principles during my journey, Jian Wushuang said, smiling cheerfully. He cast a look to his companion behind him and beckoned. Let us continue then, Qing Bin. Yes, master, Qing Bin said, nodding with respect. Together, they slowly glided towards the lands of the Rock Demon clan. And so their journey began. Jian Wushuang would often continue his studies on sword principles during their journey. For the past 3 years at the governor's mansion, he had greatly improved his grasp on swordsmanship. It would not be long until he created his own sword principle. He was rapidly making good progress, devoting himself to intense research of sword principles with the 19 sword principles from the scroll as invaluable reference materials. During the journey, Wushuang would occasionally stop to find a quiet place to meditate and assimilate the things that he learned. There were times when he would join in with fights against other warriors when they stumbled upon duels or battles, using only his skills with the sword as a means of training by deliberately suppressing his might. He would sometimes look for a place to sleep, where he would slumber for days or even months. Thus, with the odd behaviors of Jian Wushuang making sporadic stops and delays during his journey, what was at first a 5-year journey had turned into a 15-year pilgrimage before he reached the lands of the Rock Demon clan's dwelling. It was midnight, where the same blood-red moon he once saw shone eerily from the sky. Jian Wushuang was practicing his skills with the sword alone in a forest. The strokes he performed looked odd and peculiar. Indeed, peculiar would be an apt way of describing him. At times, his strokes were swift like lightning, and yet at times, they seemed slow and frail before turning furious again like an angry serpent, intense and vicious. The strokes he demonstrated were all similar in nature, yet they were displayed in various different styles, merged together as one unique sword principle. The principle was a bizarre amalgam of different styles and philosophy, a wild and audacious blend of differing principles unified into one morbidly coalesced sword principle. At length, Jian Wushuang finally stopped. My applause, Jian Wushuang. You've finally created the first sword principle of your own. The Gu King's approving voice came. Ha ha ha! Jian Wushuang grinned brightly. He had been studying extensively the 19 sword principles from the scroll and the acumen of creating the strongest sword principle. He continued studying and buried himself in profound study and training. At long last, after 15 years, he had finally created a sword principle of his own. The sword principle might look crude and simple, it was nonetheless a beginning for him. What do you make of my newly created sword principle, Gu King? Jian Wushuang asked, beaming with delight. This sword principle. The Gu King's voice faltered. After a moment's hesitation, he continued, well, how can I say? It seems odd and peculiar. Peculiar? Jian Wushuang asked in return, confused. The sword principle you created seems like a cluttered blend of several different sword principles. It may be a sword principle you created on your own. The sword principle seems nevertheless a tad chaotic. The Gu King said. Chaotic? Jian Wushuang murmured in stunned silence. Even so, he could understand the reason for the Gu King's opinion. Having created the sword principle himself, yet even he knew neither what to call it nor how should he name it. The sword principle was forged by fusing the several styles of the many sword principles from the scroll, embodying the differing doctrines of several sword principles. It should be expected that the sword principle would most undoubtedly be disorganized. I agree it is chaotic now, but this sword principle can be greatly improved when I am fully able to completely coalesce all the sword's principles as one. Jian Wushuang remarked earnestly. Well, there is a sense in forging a brand new sword principle by integrating hundreds or even thousands of sword principles. Nevertheless, No one can truly tell if this sword principle can still be enhanced into your strongest sword principle. The Gu King said. Patience. Jian Wushuang said, smiling. This is but merely my first time. I will learn the ropes gradually. Jian Wushuang was rather delighted that he had finally created a sword principle of his own. He would ponder on the rest when the time was ripe. It may be a most ordinary sword principle, but with its creation came the power that now elevates my power. At last, I truly possess a Tao Master's battle strength at the pinnacle of rank 3. Jian Wushuang smiled, feeling pleased with himself before he turned to his side. Qing Bin. Master. Qing Bin acknowledged. Qing Bin appeared before Jian Wushuang, towering at more than 3 meters tall, clad in armor of crimson scarlet. For 15 years, Qing Bin had tirelessly followed Jian Wushuang everywhere, accommodating to Jian Wushuang's whimsical and sporadic delays during the journey that have cost them substantial time. Still, Qing Bin had always been loyal and respectful to Jian Wushuang without complaint. Never once he had forgotten that it was Jian Wushuang who saved him from the gladiators' arena. Is that the territory of the Rock Demon clan just ahead? Qing Bin Jian Wushuang asked. Indeed, Master. We will be within the territory after crossing over this plain. Qing Bin answered. Very well, we should continue without delay then. Jian Wushuang said. Yes, Master. Qing Bin replied. There was a hint of delight and joy in his voice. With that, Jian Wushuang and Qing Bin set off immediately, crossing over the pasture of meadows and reached the lands of the Rock Demon clan. Soon, I will finally return to my population. As they venture closer and closer in the direction of the bastion of the Rock Demon clan, Qing Bin grew more and more excited, with a noticeable spring of delight in his steps. Even Jian Wushuang could feel the joy radiating from him. But they had only just reached the lands of the clan when, boom, boom, the clamor and bedlam of battle and carnage could be heard from afar. From a distance, Jian Wushuang could see that there were fighting and bloodshed from where he stood. There were dozens of people of opposing factions fighting in the battle. The warriors of one faction were quite large in build. Even the shortest one was more than 2 meters tall. The Titanic giants attacked violently in a crude and clumsy fashion, in great part due to their awfully strong physique. Nonetheless, they evidently weaker in number. The other faction had more than 20 men, all of whom were of the Eternal Realm, and 1/3 of them had reached its peak. Despite being weaker in brute strength and defensive capabilities, these men were more agile and nimble in their movements and maneuvers. The battle waged brutally between both sides, with the giants at an absolute disadvantage. Kill them all. The entire Rock Demon clan must die. Leave none of them alive. A peal of harsh roars came from the battlefield, the tremors of the pandemonium shaking even the heaven and earth. Jian Wushuang and Qing Bin came closer to the site of battle. Another group of over a dozen men joined in the battle. They were apparently the reinforcements of the smaller and more agile group. Already suffering a hard-fought battle, the side of the Rock Demon clan were immediately being subdued and trampled in an instant. Oh no! Seeing this, Qing Bin turned angry and furious. His eyes flared with murderous rage. He cursed, "Damned Black Python clan. Those are my kin, Master Wushuang, the people of the Rock Demon clan. They are in danger. I need to help them right now." As he spoke, Qing Bin hurled himself forward. Jian Wushuang stood motionless, merely watching as his eyes slightly narrowed. The aura of Qing Bin erupted in its fullness. His long adventures in the outside world and the many life and death fights at the gladiators' arena had welled within him a blend of brooding anger, remorse, resentment, and hate. These emotions helped shape the savage and violent aura that he unleashed, sweeping forth like a ripple of shockwave and instantly overwhelming everyone at the site of the battle. With the unexpected appearance of Qing Bin, who had returned, looks of relief and hope filled the faces of his kins of the Rock Demon clan. "You are Qing Bin. It's brother Qing Bin. It's brother Qing Bin. Quick, Qing Bin. Stop them." But the enemies from the other faction, the Black Python clan, merely sneer mockingly at the sight of Qing Bin's appearance. "Qing Bin? That is a name we have long heard before. It said that he was once well known within the Rock Demon clan. However, he vanished afterward. There were rumors that he had left for an adventure, but I didn't expect his return. Nevertheless, there is nothing that a lone giant of the Eternal Realm can do to defy our might. Humph! Qing Bin returns to seek his own doom. Say no more. Just butcher him along with the rest. Several warriors of the Black Python clan immediately threw themselves at Qing Bin. Qing Bin's strength was at the peak of the Eternal Realm. No one here could hope to be able to match him in strength in single combat. But there were simply just too many enemies against him, like a lone tree trying its best to weather a horrific storm. The warriors of the Black Python clan were all of the Eternal Realm too. Any three of them who wielded strengths at the peak of the Eternal Realm could easily subdue Qing Bin. The tide of battle had hardly shifted even with Qing Bin's arrival. So life is also turbulent even in the lands of the Rock Demon clan, Jian Wushuang murmured. Noticing his cue to act, his figure shimmered abruptly, and he directly appeared at the center of the battle. His sudden leap into the fray shocked and surprised everyone. Another one? But he seems different. Is he not from the Rock Demon clan? Pay no heed. Just slaughter him along with others. Burning deeply in a fit of bloodlust, several warriors of the Black Python clan rushed over at once to attack Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang shot them a sharp look with a cold gaze and opened his mouth suddenly. Get lost! He emitted so angry a roar that held tremendous ancient god powers which were immediately dispersed like a powerful wave of force that swept across the site of battle. Everyone ceased their movements in astonishment and bewilderment. The kinsmen of the Rock Demon clan all looked at Jian Wushuang with awe. Panic rose from their hearts. At the same time, the marauders from the Black Python clan clutched and clawed at their eyes and ears in agony as they crumbled to the ground, wailing and crying in pain. Blood trickled out of their damaged ears and eyes. None of them were dead, but the people from the Black Python clan were all shocked, discombobulated and paralyzed by this angry roar. Our retreat! Retreat now! The chieftain of the Black Python clan, a warrior of the Eternal Realm himself, howled a harsh cry, signaling the withdrawal of his men. None of them dared to remain as they fled back to where they came from miserably. Some ventured a final glimpse of fear and terror at Jian Wushuang as they leave, hoping a final glance at the person who had effortlessly routed them with a mere roar that struck despair and panic into them. In mere moments, the numerous warriors of the Black Python clan who were formerly seething with bloodthirsty rage were all routed. Jian Wushuang's angry roar had struck so great a fear into their hearts that their blood froze. None of them dared to stay and endure his wrath. Master Wushuang! Qing Bin went to Jian Wushuang immediately. The rest of the Rock Demon clan gazed at Jian Wushuang with gratitude and awe. Thank you for rescuing us, Master Wushuang, Qing Bin said. If it were not for Jian Wushuang's help, he and his kin would have been slaughtered by the Black Python clan. Why the hostilities by the Black Python clan? Jian Wushuang asked. It is as thus. Qing Bin explained. There are nearly 100 races and clans in this region. Among these populations, the Rock Demon clan and the Black Python clan reign the strongest. Both are the stronger populations around here. Hence, conflicts and battles ensue tirelessly, as both clans fought to maintain their influence and interests. Animosity between both clans have persisted for many years now. I see, Jian Wushuang remarked, his eyebrows raising with faint surprise. The Rock Demon clan one of the stronger populations? Prior to arriving here, he had presumed that the Rock Demon clan was a common or lesser population. Never did he knew that the clan was a stronger population that commanded a minor degree of authority. Even across the entire Samsara continent, the stronger populations numbered few and scarce. They were clans or race that possessed considerably potent overall strength. Take me to God Hong, Qing Bin, Jian Wushuang said promptly. Yes. Qing Bin immediately led the way. Before long, they reached the stronghold of the Rock Demon clan. The stronghold of the Rock Demon clan was surrounded by a ring of mountains. Within the bastion of the clan were numerous buildings and structures that housed millions of their kin. Even among the stronger populations, it was rare for a race to have a population of millions of kinsmen. The Rock Demon clan was beyond any doubt one of the stronger populations that commanded respectable overall strength over the lesser races and clans. Still, it was among the weakest of stronger populations across the continent. They have 10 Dao Masters in their midst, the least possible number of Dao Masters for stronger populations. The greatest warrior of the clan was none other than God Hong, a Dao Master of rank 3. Still, he wielded only the elementary proficiency of rank 3. It was the awakened rock demon bloodline that flowed through his veins which had endowed him with an extremely sturdy physique, allowing him a slight edge even in fights against rank 3 Dao Masters with advanced proficiency. Following closely behind Qing Bin, Jian Wushuang was led directly into the bastion of the Rock Demon clan, where he was arranged for an audience with God Hong in a grand hall. Clad in armor of cyan hue, God Hong was a bald man who towered at an intimidating height of more than 5 meters. There he stood, they saw, at the forefront of the hall like a huge mountain. Is he God Hong? Jian Wushuang asked himself, staring at God Hong with astonishment and disbelief. The mere shred of consciousness of God Hong during their encounter in the ancient world had left a vivid and lasting impression that had never ceased to awe him. Jian Wushuang could hardly forget the amazement and awe that he reserved especially for the consciousness that was shaped by the residual powers left in a mere severed finger of God Hong. Yet, now, meeting God Hong for the first time in person, Jian Wushuang could hardly feel neither admiration nor adoration for the person he once respected. Brother Hong, it is I, Qing Bin, who has returned. Qing Bin rushed over to God Hong and fell to his knees before the hulking man with great excitement, bowing his head down on the ground with utmost reverence as his voice echoed through the alcoves of the hall. It is good that you have returned. On your feet now. Relieved and comforted, God Hong dismissed with a simple wave of his hand as he watched his long-lost kin immediately got to his feet. This is Master Jian Wushuang, Brother Hong. He is the reason that I am able to return alive. More so, it was he who had earlier saved our kinsmen from the Black Python clan and had routed their warriors. Oh! God Hong turned to look at Jian Wushuang. My name is Jian Wushuang, Senior. My deepest respects to you. Jian Wushuang greeted him. Jian Wushuang, God Hong asked strangely. There was a faint glimpse of recognition in his eyes. You might remember, Senior, that many years before, a severed finger of yours had fallen into a domain called the Ancient World. The finger contained a sliver of your consciousness. The consciousness from the severed finger had encountered a young fellow and had taught him the immortality secret skill. The young fellow was also imparted with the technique of enhanced magic, Thunderbolt. Jian Wushuang said, smiling. God Hong's gaze instantly transfixed upon Jian Wushuang with a surprised stare as he realized who Jian Wushuang was. He said, You were the young man from the ancient world? I am. Jian Wushuang said. How is this possible? God Hong looked at Jian Wushuang with amazement. He said, You were but a fresh sapling then, still young and untrained in combat and martial skills when the shred of my consciousness met you. It has hardly been 2,000 years, and yet, in such a short time, you have managed to achieve such power and strength. God Hong was filled with astonishment. He had merely intended to show some kindness to a helpless weakling when they first met. Despite once encouraging Jian Wushuang to reach for greater heights and proposing that the young man visit him in the future, he did not expect that Jian Wushuang would indeed thrive and progress so swiftly. But now, Jian Wushuang had indeed come to him in less than 2,000 years. You had saved Qing Bin and had repelled our enemies from the Black Python clan. I simply don't know how to express my gratitude to you, God Hong said with a smile. You are being too polite, Senior. I would not be here if it were not for the kindness that you have shown me so many years ago, Jian Wushuang said. Nevertheless, Jian Wushuang spoke true. His encounter with God Hong had given him the means which enabled the breakthrough of his strength and granted him the immortality secret skill. The very same immortality secret skill had been key to his continued success. It was hardly an exaggeration that it was God Hong who had paved the way for Jian Wushuang's climb to power. Ha ha ha! I had helped you then because I had perceived you as a pleasant and likable young man. Yet, Never would I be able to foretell that you would be able to blossom and thrive to such greatness. God Hong burst into laughter as all semblances of his intimidating and stern self immediately diminished. Just then, "Eh?" God Hong muttered with surprise. His expression took a drastic change. "What is wrong, Brother Hong?" Qing Bin asked, looking at God Hong. "It's a beacon calling for help. I must look into it right away." God Hong said grimly. "Could it be the Black Python clan again?" Qing Bin asked. His face darkened with gloom. "I am afraid it is true. There have been many changes within the Black Python clan while you were away. They have revolutionized their inner workings that they have now landed us, the Rock Demon clan, in a very dire and disadvantaged position." God Hong lamented with a sigh before he turned to glance at Jian Wushuang. "I am afraid I have business to attend to, young friend. Our conversation will have to continue some other time. Please stay with us and enjoy our hospitality while you're here. Qing Bin will show you around our clan. There is an area which might interest you. It is a place where it might be useful to students in the skills of swordsmanship like you. Qing Bin will lead you there as well." With that, God Hong took his leave and left. "Please come with me, Master Wushuang," Qing Bin said with a smile. "Very well," Jian Wushuang replied curiously as he nodded. God Hong had mentioned of a site which will help greatly the students of the mastery of swordsmanship. What manner of place could that be? The bastion of the Rock Demon clan was a wide and large city. Qing Bin and Jian Wushuang had wandered long before they finally came to the bottom of a huge mountain gorge that was deep behind one of the great mountains that overlooked the city. They were between the massive rocky-faced walls of the deep ravine. "Here we are, Master Wushuang," Qing Bin said as they came to a stop. The finger of his outstretched arm pointed to the huge jagged walls. "Look, Master." Jian Wushuang looked closely into the distant. What he saw made him froze. "It's—" With his eyes twinkling with awe and amazement, Jian Wushuang saw many marks upon the walls. Unlike the rough faces of the walls, the marks were incredibly precise and smooth with varying depths and declinations, very much similar to the marks left upon a slab of butter by a hot and keen blade. These were all marks left by swords. Marks that have cleaved and hewed deep into the solid walls of rock with differing depth. There were 9 of them in all. Jian Wushuang looked at the 9 sword marks on the walls of the chasm, feeling horrified and yet amazed. Too smooth. These sword marks are just too smooth. How sharp would a sword have to be capable of carving so deeply and smoothly into solid rock? How swift would the skills of its wielder have to be able to harness such power? Jian Wushuang breathed absent-mindedly as he studied the first sword mark. The first sword mark was the shallowest of the 9. Despite its age, Jian Wushuang could still faintly perceive the aura left by the stroke, a destructive will to inflict damage that appalled him. As he examined the mark, Jian Wushuang could slowly envision a figure, the silhouette of a swordsman who swung his sword and left the mark on the wall with finesse and grace. Too fast. This stroke is too fast. Jian Wushuang gasped, astonished before he moved on to the second sword mark. The second mark was deeper still, containing a richer residue of aura left so long ago. Jian Wushuang could envision once more the figure of the swordsman brandishing his blade. The dance of his sword bore the vestiges of the same swordsmanship. The only difference that this second mark was left by a stroke swifter than the first. Already the stroke which had birthed the first sword mark was fast enough to amaze Jian Wushuang. But the stroke that had created the second mark was even faster still. Then he saw the third, the fourth, and the subsequent marks that followed. As the marks became deeper and deeper, the swordsman from his vision demonstrated the strokes of his swordsmanship with speeds that outvied one after another, growing increasingly faster and faster. Finally, he saw the 9th and the final sword mark. The mark cleaved deep into the rock that it appeared it could even sunder the mountain half. It clearly bore the traces of the strongest force unleashed by the swiftest stroke. In his vision, Jian Wushuang could fully visualize the silhouette of the swordsman showing to him the swordsmanship in its fullness. The speed of the stroke was what left him horrified. It was so fast that not even Jian Wushuang could see it clearly. It bore such terrible swiftness that Jian Wushuang knew even he himself would only be helpless before such an overwhelming speed. Finally, he saw the ninth and the final sword mark. I believe it was an incredibly powerful swordsman who was once here to meditate on his mastery of swordsmanship and hone them to perfection. The 9 marks on the wall of the gorge were left during his training. Jian Wushuang thought to himself. All 9 marks were left by the very same stroke, repeated again and again. But the differences in the depths of the strokes showed the gradual rise in force that was accorded by the increase of speed in the execution of the stroke. It was, beyond a doubt, the manifestation of how the swordsman had pushed his skills to its limit step by step. What do you think of them, Master Wushuang? Qing Bin asked as he looked at Jian Wushuang. Extremely shocked. Jian Wushuang answered truthfully. Everyone from our clan, those who study swordsmanship, wore the very same amazed and shocked expression that you now wear when they first laid eyes on these marks. Qing Bin said with a smile. It was about 20,000 years ago when a mysterious swordsman happened to venture here. Struck by a sudden glimpse of inspiration, he stopped here and meditated on his skills. He was then discovered by some of my kin, who had tried to drive him away. But in his act to ward off those who disturbed his meditation, he carelessly cast a blow from his sword that had then created the first mark that you had seen earlier. This terrified everyone present, including Brother Hong. With respects for his skills, Brother Hong commanded that no one were to disturb the meditation of the swordsman. In fact, he had even assigned sentinels who watched for the safety of the swordsman, guarding him peacefully at the entrances of the gorge. For 2 years, the swordsman remained until his departure. We then discovered the 9 sword marks that he had left on the granite wall of the chasm. They were gifts from him, in return for the hospitality that we have accorded him for 2 years. Compensation, Jian Wushuang uttered, breaking into a giggle. The 9 sword marks were a great boon to any swordsman seeking to hone their skills. It was a very heavy gift from the swordsman to the Rock Demon clan for his 2-year-long stay in the ravine. Do you know of the name of this master swordsman, Qing Bin? Jian Wushuang asked. I do, Qing Bin promptly said. Before he left, he had revealed that his name was Sunrise. Sunrise? The Sunrise Sword Emperor. Jian Wushuang gasped, his eyes opening wide. There was but only one swordsman in the entire Green Fire world who bore the name of Sunrise. He was none other than the Sunrise Sword Emperor, the undisputed greatest swordsman of the Green Fire world. No wonder, Jian Wushuang said. No wonder these marks are so powerful and incredible. These are the hallmarks of the skills of the Sunrise Sword Emperor himself. Jian Wushuang felt a rapturous delight in his heart as he looked in awe at the sword marks. It was imperative that he created a stronger sword principle. The 9 sword marks left by the Sunrise Sword Emperor would be of great hope to that vocation. Most importantly, the 9 swords marks showcased a gradual process to pursue perfection. These sword marks? Jian Wushuang stared at the first sword scar carefully, instantly fascinated by the inspiration it embodied. Within moments, his eyes blinked shut. Master Wushuang. Qing Bin tried to call out to him, but he saw Jian Wushuang closing his eyes suddenly before he drew his sword and began waving it around as he practiced his strokes in the middle of 2 lofty mountain faces. Realizing that Jian Wushuang was ensnared by a similar reverie of an awakening inspiration, Qing Bin retreated silently out of the gorge, leaving Jian Wushuang alone deep in his meditation peacefully. Completely awashed with a euphoric delirium, Jian Wushuang fell into a deep trance of meditation, losing completely all sense of time. In a mere flash, 3 days had passed, but Jian Wushuang was still deep in his trance, waving his sword in practice. But the speed of his skills had increased substantially. Floating in midair, God Hong, who had returned from his business, and Qing Bin stood abreast side by side, watching at Jian Wushuang, who was still inside the gorge. Our young friend shares a certain kismet with me, and he has great potential. In only 2,000 years, he had managed to reach such immense strength. It will be hardly long before he truly becomes an invincible warrior. God Hong smiled and then glanced at Qing Bin beside him, saying, Let no one into the gorge for now. We will leave our young friend here on his own as he mediates peacefully in the rift of the territory of the Rock Demon clan. Jian Wushuang was stunned when seeing the 9 sword scars on the mountain wall. Judging from the 9 sword scars on the wall, he could imagine Sunrise Sword Emperor swiped faster and faster. The last one was so fast that it was even beyond Jian Wushuang's imagination, which completely refreshed his knowledge of swordsmanship. He then forgot about everything, immersing himself in meditation upon sword principle. Under the command of God Hong, the clansman of the Rock Demon clan who used to meditate upon sword principle didn't come to the rift to bother Jian Wushuang during these days. Jian Wushuang threw himself into study, meditation, and practice. In a wink, 5 years had passed. Jian Wushuang stood quietly in the rift, staring at a vertical boulder in the front. Then he drew out his sword right away. Jian Wushuang drew his long sword out. With a flash of sword light, he put it back to the sheath. If an ordinary person saw this, he wouldn't believe his eyes, or he would think that Jian Wushuang didn't even move. Yet at this moment, the vertical boulder in front of Jian Wushuang was sliced in the middle of its body and finally fell to the ground. Its cut was extremely smooth and flat. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang couldn't help putting a smile on his face. Congratulations, Jian Wushuang. You have created the second sword principle of your own. The voice of Gu King rang in Jian Wushuang's mind. Ha ha! Jian Wushuang said with a grin. It never occurred to him that there would be 9 sword scars left by Sunrise Sword Emperor in the territory of the Rock Demon clan. What was more, the 9 sword scars were from easy to difficult, which made it quite easy for Jian Wushuang to meditate on. Through this meditation, he had been inspired in many ways. It helped him create his second sword principle over the 5 years. I created the first sword principle by absorbing the essences of many sword principles and integrating them to make a more powerful and horrible sword principle. Through evolution, this sword principle should unify into one at the end. But the second sword principle, Jian Wushuang said. Jian Wushuang squinted slightly. The second sword principle came from the 9 sword scars left by Sunrise Sword Emperor through meditation. It also focuses on speed. By now, I just learned its basis. It was also a sword principle at the most common level. As for its name, for now, I shall just call it Aurora Sword Principle. He had created 2 sword principles. One of them was Coalescence Sword Principle, and the other one was Aurora Sword Principle. Both of them were sword principles at the common level. Yet, there was still a lot of room for improvement. Needless to say, as for Coalescence Sword Principle, he could make it more and more powerful by integrating more sword principles and making a perfect combination of essence of those sword principles. As for Aurora Sword Principle, speed was the most important thing. Now that Jian Wushuang had only preliminarily mastered it, obviously he could make it more powerful. Jian Wushuang, although you have created 2 sword principles and enhanced your overall strength, your swordsmanship can't enable you to display your sword principles to full extent. Therefore, now you shouldn't focus on improving the level of sword principle. Instead, you should turn to swordsmanship suitable for your sword principles. The voice of Gu King rang in his mind again. Only when your sword principle match with your swordsmanship perfectly can you completely fulfill yourself. I see. Jian Wushuang nodded and said. He was also aware of his drawbacks on swordsmanship. Boundless Heaven Sword Art was his best swordsmanship. However, Boundless Heaven Sword Art just focused on power, which was apparently not suitable to improve his 2 sword principles. It's not difficult to create a matching swordsmanship to fully display Coalescence Sword Principle. After all, it unifies all swordsmanships into one, which makes it applicable to various swordsmanships. The problem is Aurora Sword Principle. Jian Wushuang muttered to himself. About the swordsmanship suitable for Aurora Sword Principle, I do have an idea, but it needs to be tested in constant efforts. The 9 sword scars left by Sunrise Sword Emperor are profound and extensive. It has a lot in common with my Aurora Sword Principle. It probably can inspire me in many ways to create a matching swordsmanship. Jian Wushuang looked up at the 9 sword scars on the mountain wall and then started digging into swordsmanship. When he first arrived Samsara continent, he was so eager to look for his father. But now he was totally calmed. The 9 sword scars left by Sunrise Sword Emperor were of great use to him. He would certainly want to stay longer to improve his sword principles as well as his swordsmanship level. As time went by, Jian Wushuang had long forgotten about everything else. In a flash, Jian Wushuang had already been meditating in the rift for 13 years. Upon the void outside the rift, God Hong and Qing Bin stood side by side. Master Wushuang is still cultivating there. Looking down at Jian Wushuang, who was absorbed in studying swordsmanship, Qing Bin secretly praised. He has completely indulged in swordsmanship meditation. God Hong said with a smile, Jian Wushuang is not only extremely talented but also a lot more diligent than most people. No wonder he can make such an achievement in less than 2,000 years. By the way, during these days, was there discontent from the clansmen who used to meditate in the rift? No, Qing Bin shook his head and said with a smile. When Master Wushuang first came to our clan, he helped us to defeat numerous experts of the Black Python clan and saved a lot of our clansmen. Everyone in our clan knows what he did. They appreciate him a lot, including clansmen who cultivate sword principles. Therefore, no one has complained about it when they knew Master Wushuang has been cultivating in the rift. That's good, God Hong said, nodding slightly. This young man has got extraordinary potentials. He'll achieve great success in the future. It's also beneficial for us to be friendly with such a potential expert. That's right. Qing Bin nodded along and said, speaking of the Black Python clan, something might go wrong among them judging from their actions these days. God Hong suddenly frowned and said, in terms of strength, the Black Python clan is much stronger than us. In the battle between us, they will come at us outrageously as long as we win a little. However, this time we have gained such a big advantage, yet they didn't react it at all. It is absolutely unusual. Take my order. Tell our clansmen to be careful as much as possible. My gut tells me that the Black Python clan is planning something drastic. Something drastic? Qing Bin appeared puzzled but immediately realized. He said, I see. God Hong and Qing Bin didn't stay any longer in this void. Soon they left. Jian Wushuang was still alone in the rift, concentrating on practicing his swordsmanship. Since he created the second sword principle, it had been 8 years in total. His swordsmanship was quite different from what it used to be. In a grand hall, many experts of the Black Python clan gathered together. Everyone looked quite excited. We've finally come to this day after preparing for so long. The leader of the Black Python clan was an insidious man with a little black snake coiling on his shoulder. He looked around with ice-cold eyes like vipers and said, we are going to do it today. Follow everything by the plan. This time, we must make them pay a heavy price and leave them to go to the dogs. Yes. One after another, the experts of the Black Python clan around him nodded excitedly. After fighting against each other for so many years in this territory, the enmity between the Black Python clan and the Rock Demon clan had long gone into a situation in which they would fight to the death. The two populations would trample the other side underfoot downright without hesitation given a chance. And this time, for the Black Python clan, it was definitely a now or never chance. Master Di Yen, later when God Hong shows up, I will have to bother you to deal with him. The insidious man looked towards a black-robed elder sitting next to him and said with a hint of modesty. On hearing this, the black-robed elder raised his head slightly and unfolded his skinny old face. Black, mysterious cracks could be seen all over one of his cheeks. If Jian Wushuang was there, would have recognized him at a glance. The black-robed elder was Di Yen, the expert from the Sky-Devouring clan who worked with Jin Yu to ambush Dragon Wing Governor, and him outside of Jin Yu's castle back then. Di Yen came from the bloodline of the Sky-Devouring clan and liked to devour the essence blood of all kinds of exotic beasts. He once had his eye on Dragon Wing Governor. However, he had to give up because Jian Wushuang got in his way. After that, he traveled along and happened to come to this territory as well. Then he accepted the invitation from the experts of the Black Python clan and came to help them defeat the Rock Demon clan. The Rock Demon clan has been known for powerful body defensive ability. God Hong had awakened a part of the bloodline and reached the level of rank 3 Dao Master. Even I am not totally sure that I could kill him for good, but I could manage to wound him badly. The black-robed elder Di Yen said, it will be enough as long as you can inflict serious injuries on him and hold down his battle strength for a short while. If the plan works, the overall strength of the Rock Demon clan will be severely cut down, and God Hong will also be unable to use his strength. Then our Black Python clan could unite the experts to wipe out the whole Rock Demon clan, the insidious man said in a low voice. In this way, the Black Python clan should be the only advanced population over the territory ever after. Dian laughed and said, "Haha, I still have to bother you to help us achieve that, Master Dian." The insidious man laughed along and said, "Soon the experts of the Black Python set off. In the rift of the territory of the Rock Demon clan. Buzz buzz, the whole rift was full of sword essence. Yet Jian Wushuang, who was in the very center of sword essence, stopped and slowly put back his sword. After digging for so many years, I finally completed this move," Jian Wushuang said with a delightful face. "Jian Wushuang, the talent you have got on sword principle is undoubtedly marvelous. You can create such a weird swordsmanship." Gu King spoke to his mind. "Your sword principles are just at the common level, but the move you created is tremendous. Even those experts who have created sword principle at the universe level won't necessarily be capable of working it out. I have to thank Sunrise Sword Emperor for leaving these 9 sword scars. Besides, I am also grateful to Master Ku, who guided me at the beginning." Jian Wushuang laughed and said. After Jian Wushuang created the second sword principle of his own named Swordplay of Aurora, he spent 8 years digging into swordsmanship. By now, he had finally made a great achievement on swordsmanship and fulfilled his goal. While this original body of mine was indulged in the study of swordsmanship, the other one has been meditating on the connotation of the strongest sword principle. Thus I have come to some understandings in which I feel that I am quite close to creating my third sword principle. Jian Wushuang smiled and said, "People would surely be deeply shocked if they were told about someone who had created 2 sword principles successively in just a few decades and was about to create the third one. After all, sword principles were unimaginably profound. There was no way they could be created at will. But Jian Wushuang was different. He got a great gift in sword principle along with many treasures and opportunities that facilitated him. Most important of all, he had the strongest sword heart. The rule that the strongest sword heart must be metamorphosized from the strongest sword soul played an essential role in the meditation on sword principles. In comparison to other warriors of sword principles, Jian Wushuang got a much greater innate advantage. Even Gu King said that Jian Wushuang should at least create one of the strongest sword principles before he became a Dao master. Yet how many cultivators of sword principle would dare to set their goal to achieve the strongest sword principle in the whole green fire world? But for Jian Wushuang, who had the strongest sword heart, achieving the strongest sword principle was merely a starting point. Jian Wushuang was murmuring, but suddenly, boom! A dreadful roar came down from the distant void with a rush, carrying a horrible aftermath that spread to the whole Rock Demon clan. Ha ha! From today on, the Rock Demon clan will no longer exist on the Samsara continent. A loud and cold laughter came through the air like a heavy thunder, echoing in the entire residence of the Rock Demon clan. In an instant, the whole Rock Demon clan was startled. Whoosh! 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 Numerous experts of the Rock Demon clan rushed towards the residence of the Rock Demon clan with astonishment and anger on their face. What happened? Jian Wushuang glided to the void above the rift. Overlooking to the distant void, he could see the edge of his vision where several grand auras were approaching slowly. There were 8 auras in total, and all of them belonged to the real experts at Dao Master level. And most importantly, the 8 Dao Masters all came with tremendous killing intent. Apparently, they were not from the Rock Demon clan. What happened? Jian Wushuang said doubtfully. Master Wushuang, Master Wushuang. As there came an anxious voice, Qingbin glided to Jian Wushuang hurriedly. Qingbin, what happened? Why would there be some people directly intruding the residence of the Rock Demon clan? Jian Wushuang frowned and asked. With 10 Dao Masters, led by God Hong, who was a rank 3 Dao Master, the Rock Demon clan was some way an advanced population. Within this territory, no one dared to mess with them except for the Black Python clan. Although the strength of the Black Python clan was slightly greater and the fight between the two populations was a bit crazy, the Black Python clan wouldn't dare to assault the city of the Rock Demon clan if there was no specific treasure that they coveted so much. Something happened. Something serious happened. Qingbin growled in a low voice, and his eyes turned red. He said, "The Black Python clan set us up. A medium population was bribed by them and joined their conspiracy. For elders of US who went out for business all fell today." "What?" Jian Wushuang asked, unable to hold back his surprise. As an advanced population, the Rock Demon clan included not a few experts. Generally, the elders of the clan were Dao Master experts. For elders had fallen. It meant that 4 Dao Masters had fallen. There were just 10 Dao Masters in the whole Rock Demon clan. Even more, Brother Hong was beaten up by them. Qingbin said urgently, "I don't know how the Black Python clan called in an expert. He suddenly showed up and severely injured Brother Hong during the head-on fight between Brother Hong and the leader of the Black Python clan. If it were not for Brother Hong's incredible skill in defense, he would probably have got killed." "Even God Hong got severely injured?" Jian Wushuang said, squinting slightly. Including God Hong, there were just 10 Dao Masters in total in the Rock Demon clan. Now 4 of them had fallen at a time, and even God Hong got severely injured, making the battle strength of the high-level leaders of the Rock Demon clan sank to a low level. Not surprisingly, the experts of the Black Python clan dared to directly intrude into the city of the Rock Demon clan. "Master Wushuang, Brother Hong told me to ask you to leave immediately," Qingbin said. "After all, you don't belong here. You are not supposed to engage in the collision between our Rock Demon clan and the Black Python clan. So just get out of here. No need to leave immediately." Jian Wushuang shook his head while gazing at the 8 Dao Masters of the Black Python clan in the distance. He could sense the monstrous killing intent from them. He said, "The Black Python clan have fought with the Rock Demon clan for so many years. They finally got such a great opportunity, so they won't give you a break." Not surprisingly, the Black Python clan must have sent out all the experts today. "The Rock Demon clan is in danger. Jian Wushuang, what do you intend to do?" He heard Gu Qing's voice. "I'm indebted to God Hong. Besides, during these years I got a lot of help from the Rock Demon clan. They did me such a great favor, so I should do something for them in return." Jian Wushuang said with a smile. "You want to help them?" Gu Qing said apathetically. "You tell me," Jian Wushuang said with a faint smile, while Blood Mountain's sword appeared in his hand. "Master Wushuang, what are you doing?" Qingbin stared at Jian Wushuang with amazement and said, "Qingbin, just stand here and watch," Jian Wushuang said with a faint smile, then flying forward. Jian Wushuang flew across the void with ease like a ghost and soon got to the battlefield ahead. At this moment, the 2 populations were in an intense battle. Led by the 8 Dao Masters, numerous experts of the Black Python clan had directly intruded into the city of the Rock Demon clan. Numerous clansmen of the Rock Demon clan struggled to fight back. However, the battle strength of the high-level leaders of the Rock Demon clan was considerably inferior to that of the Black Python clan. Although the left Dao Masters of the Rock Demon clan joined the fight, they were soon beaten back by the 8 Dao Masters of the Black Python clan. No one could stop the 8 Dao Masters of the Black Python clan. "Ha! Kill them all. Our Black Python clan is the unchallenged leader of this territory from today. The Rock Demon clan, after all these years of fight, today is the extermination day of your clan." Angry roars and loud laughs reverberated between heaven and earth. Led by the 8 Dao Masters, the experts of the Black Python clan killed wantonly in the territory of the Rock Demon clan. Meanwhile, the Rock Demon clan was barely capable of fighting back. At this moment, Jian Wushuang showed up in the midmost battlefield like a ghost as well as in front of the 8 Dao Masters of the Black Python clan. All the 8 Dao Masters saw, but they didn't pay much attention. "Where does the brat come from? Get the hell out of here." A bald man waved his robe, and instantly there came a blast of power which formed a sharp sword shadow. Came towards Jian Wushuang's head. Jian Wushuang stood there indifferently with the corners of his mouth lifted to a special arc and his eyes fixed on Blood Mountain's sword in his hand. "I've just created this swordsmanship and never displayed it in the presence of anyone. Today I should try its power on you 8 Dao Masters. Jian Wushuang murmured. Without any big movement, he just waved his sword casually. It was just a casual swipe which looked like a child's swipe. However, just as he waved Blood Mountain's sword, a burst of horrified sword essence exploded at the moment. A sharp sword shadow was unleashed directly. Fast, it was so fast. It was definitely several times faster than any swordsmanships that Jian Wushuang had displayed before. At first, the 8 Dao Masters in front of Jian Wushuang didn't take Jian Wushuang seriously, because he was just at Eternal Realm level. But when they saw this sharp sword shadow unleashed, they showed a trace of astonishment in their eyes. While they saw the sword shadow, a strange power directly overwhelmed them. At this moment, as their consciousness fell into a temporary pause, they were dumbfounded like a fool. Swish! After a low hum, peace was restored and the sharp sword shadow had vanished. Jian Wushuang stood in the void, slowly returning Blood Mountain's sword to the sheath. Watching the 8 Dao Masters standing there still, he said with a faint smile, "I should thank Master Ku for inspiring me so that I could create this swordsmanship." Master Ku was one of the 18 masters of the Void Temple. Jian Wushuang used to have a fight with Master Ku outside of the imperial city of Tang of the East. Jian Wushuang still vividly remembered Master Ku's most powerful move. The move was stunning and incredibly fast. The most important thing was that the move contained consciousness attack as well. The saber technique and consciousness attack combined perfectly. The move shocked Jian Wushuang so much that it constantly crossed his mind when he tried to create a matching swordsmanship for Aurora Sword Principle during the past years. Thus, he intended to combine consciousness attack with his swordsmanship perfectly. After all, he was rather adept in consciousness attack. Through several years of study, he finally created this swordsmanship that had the speed of the Aurora Sword Principle and the consciousness attack. This move was incredibly fast. Meanwhile, the consciousness attack included in the swordsmanship was perfectly displayed after being greatly improved by the swordsmanship. It was even much more powerful than mind-controlling secret skill displayed by Jian Wushuang with all his strength. What was more, mind-controlling secret skill needed to be displayed by Jian Wushuang in a painstaking and complicated way. The sweeping consciousness attack could be easily noticed. Nevertheless, the consciousness attack included in the swordsmanship really came quietly without a sign, which created this extremely weird but incredibly fast move. This move is named Death Shadow. Jian Wushuang murmured. As he finished his words, the 8 Dao Masters who hovered in the void ahead of him fell feebly one after another. 8 figures fell at the same time. This scene made the whole battlefield fall silent. In a hall in the deepest part of the territory of the Rock Demon clan. Third Elder. How is the preparation going? God Hong asked, sitting on a throne. He looked very pale and his eyes were bloodshot. The elder experts of the Rock Demon clan were gathering at the bottom of the hall. 100 talented young clansmen have assembled. They can set off at any moment. The third elder of the Rock Demon clan, the only Dao Master expert in the hall besides God Hong, said with a trace of misery. The Rock Demon clan ran into an unprecedented crisis. Except for God Hong and him, the other Dao Masters were struggling to resist the attack of the Black Python clan. Meanwhile, they gathered in the hall, trying to leave a batch of descendants for the Rock Demon clan. God Hong, our Rock Demon clan was really in such a plight? An old lady with a dragon staff in hand asked in a deep voice. With a shudder of his huge body, God Hong said seriously, "We are trapped by the Black Python clan and suffered a great loss of the high-level battle strength. Even I'm seriously injured. There is less than 30% of our battle strength left. What's worse, the Black Python clan has called in a Dao Master expert at the peak level of rank 3 to help them. Although the overall strength of our clan is almost equal to that of the Black Python clan, we are unable to resist them with the huge gap between the battle strength of our high-level leaders and that of theirs. It's impossible that the Black Python clan will spare our clan. We are almost doomed." God Hong gripped his hands tightly and said while trembling physically and mentally, "Doomed." It was such a simple word, but enough to drive the Rock Demon clan mad. God Hong raised his head again, and his eyes reddened. He said, Our rock demon clan can be destructed and completely vanish in Samsara continent. Nevertheless, the bloodline of our rock demon clan that has been passed on for long years can't be cut off today. Third elder, later other elders, and I will think of a way to distract those experts of the Black Python clan. Then you should seek an opportunity to lead the 100 talented young clansmen to leave this territory. From now on, all of you should conceal your identities and never reveal your from the Rock Demon clan to anyone. Besides, later other elders and I will fight to the death, but numerous clansmen don't need to do so. Tell them to get away as much as possible. The more of them get away, the more descendants of our Rock Demon clan can survive. Got it. God Hong's voice reverberated around the entire hall. In the hall, all experts of the Rock Demon clan took death calmly with a resolute expression. Quite a few of them even looked insane. It was the genocide battle of the Rock Demon clan. They were high-level experts of the Rock Demon clan. Besides, Third Elder got his necessary task. The rest of them would definitely fight to the death and stay with their population. However, just at this moment, Big Brother Hong, with an anxious voice, someone rushed into the hall in haste. It was Qing Bin. What's the matter? They failed to block the enemies. God Hong asked, suddenly gripping his hands. No, it's not about it. It's Wushuang, Master Wushuang. Qing Bin apparently came here in great haste, so he failed to say it clearly due to shortness of breath. Jian Wushuang? Didn't I tell you to lead him away at once? God Hong said in a deep voice. No, Master Wushuang didn't leave. Instead, he joined the fight and directly killed the 8 Dao Masters of the Black Python clan. Qing Bin finally calmed down and said, What? All the people in the hall, including God Hong, were dumbfounded. They couldn't believe their ears at first. Jian Wushuang killed the 8 Dao Masters of the Black Python clan? Qing Bin, what did you just say? God Hong repeated anxiously. Master Wushuang joined the fight and directly killed the 8 Dao Masters who intruded the residence of our Rock Demon clan. What's more, Master Wushuang did it with just a move. Qing Bin said seriously. This time everyone heard him clearly. But after hearing it clearly, they were panic-stricken and sick at heart. Jian Wushuang was the young man who had been a guest in the city of the Rock Demon clan and meditated upon the 9 sword scars left by Sunrise Sword Emperor in the rift during the past years. Did he kill the 8 Dao Masters of the Black Python clan? What was more, he did it with just a move. Are you kidding me? Third Elder was the first to exclaim. We shouldn't blame him. After all, it was unusual in every respect. They were Dao Master experts, not just some cabbages on the street. They couldn't be killed so easily. After all, as a top expert, each Dao Master had his own trump card. They couldn't be killed easily. Even if all of the 8 Dao Master of the Black Python clan were the most common rank 1 Dao Masters, it still needed extraordinary skill and strength to kill them with just a move. At least, no one from their Rock Demon clan possessed this strength. Furthermore, the Dao Masters of the Black Python clan were generally at a high level. Among the 8 Dao Masters who had been killed, there were 5 rank 2 Dao Masters and only 3 rank 1 Dao Masters. It would be even harder to kill 8 Dao Masters like them at the same time with just a move. But now Qing Bin told them that Jian Wushuang, who was just at Eternal Realm level, killed the 8 Dao Masters with just a move? Could it be possible? Qing Bin, are you sure that he killed them with just one strike? God Hong asked in astonishment. I'm positive. Many of our clansmen witnessed that. The bodies of the 8 Dao Masters of the Black Python clan still lie under Master Wushuang's feet. Brother Hong, we can go there and have a look if you'd like to. Qing Bin quickly replied. Let's go there and have a look. Without thinking about something else, God Hong instantly rushed out of the hall and directly headed for the battlefield at the forefront. The high-level experts of the Rock Demon clan naturally followed him. Soon, they showed up around the battlefield and saw what was happening in front of them. In the vast void, more than 1 million clansmen of the Rock Demon clan and the Black Python clan gathered there. With so many people around, it should be extremely noisy. However, at this moment they were horribly quiet in this void. There was total silence without any noise. It was like the entire space and time were frozen. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the scarlet-robed man with a long sword on his back in the very center of the void. The scarlet-robed man had a faint smile on his face. Under his feet there were 8 bodies. Although they were dead, they still wore terrified expressions and auras of Tao masters. There was an extremely clear sword scar respectively at every corpse's neck. Both the shape and the cut of the sword scar looked exactly the same. Obviously, someone killed the 8 people at the same time with just a move. Just a move. So it's true, God Hong said in astonishment. Those experts who followed him here also looked stunned. When first hearing the news from Qing Bin, they seriously doubted it. But now they had to believe what they saw. Indeed, Jian Wushuang killed the 8 Tao masters of the Black Python clan with just a move. How did he do that? God Hong couldn't help thinking. Meanwhile, Jian Wushuang, who had been the focus between heaven and earth, suddenly raised his head. In the distance, he saw several figures fly towards him and appeared in front of him instantly. Certainly, they were the clan leader and the remaining Tao masters of the Black Python clan. The overall strength of the Black Python clan was much better than that of the Rock Demon clan. Certainly, the Black Python clan included more Tao masters. Except the 8 killed by Jian Wushuang, there were still 6 left. Damn it! The leader of the Black Python clan was the insidious man with a small black snake on his shoulder. Watching the 8 bodies on the ground, he looked extremely sullen, shaking violently. There were 8 Tao masters. Their Black Python clan had only 14 Tao masters in total. Now more than half of them had been killed by Jian Wushuang. Naturally, the insidious man felt so distressed. Nevertheless, regardless of his distress, he witnessed Jian Wushuang's great strength. He had watched the fight in the void not far away. His original plan was that the 8 Tao masters led numerous experts of the Black Python clan to fight their way to the city of the Rock Demon clan. Then, he and other Tao masters awaited the badly hurt God Hong. Finally, they would immediately kill him the moment he showed up. However, no one had expected that a sword principle expert just at Eternal Realm level showed up and killed all the 8 Tao masters before God Hong showed up. Jian Wushuang's move also shocked him tremendously. It was so fast. It was so fast that there was not enough time for him to rescue them. Where does the brat come from? When did the Rock Demon clan have such an incredible expert at Eternal Realm level? The insidious man fixed his eyes on Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang glanced up at him as well, but soon his eyes rested on a black-robed elder. Well, I didn't expect that I would meet an acquaintance. We are really enemies on a narrow road, Jian Wushuang said in a cold voice. Kid, you again? The black-robed elder also raised his head. He glanced at Jian Wushuang in astonishment. Jian Wushuang immediately recognized the black-robed elder was the expert from the Sky-Devouring clan. The elder and Jin Yu joined force to ambush Dragon Wing Governor and him. Likewise, the black-robed elder Di Yen also recognized Jian Wushuang. So you are the expert who helps the Black Python clan? Jian Wushuang asked with a faint smile. That's right. Di Yen nodded and said in a cold voice, Brat, you stopped me from killing Dragon Wing Governor before. Today I'm going to help the Black Python clan exterminate the Rock Demon clan, and you are going to spoil my plan again? You seem to have a problem with me, right? I was indebted to the Rock Demon clan. If you are going to kill them, I have no choice but to fight with you, Jian Wushuang said coolly. Di Yan's face suddenly darkened. Master Di Yan, that's enough. Just kill him, the insidious man beside him urged in a cold voice. Shut up. Glancing at the insidious man, Di Yan snapped in a deep voice. You think it's so easy to kill this brat? Di Yan had gone through Jian Wushuang's horrible defensive ability. These days, he could still feel a dull pain inside his broken teeth. To kill Jian Wushuang? It was impossible for him. If he's helping the Rock Demon clan, it'll be quite difficult for you to exterminate them, Di Yan said in a deep voice. How come? No matter how powerful the brat is, he's just at Eternal Realm level. Can't you kill him with all your full strength? The insidious man refused to yield. He ground his teeth with rage, while his eyes turned red. Master Di Yan, if you can kill him with all your strength, I can pay you 30% more of the reward I've promised. The insidious man encouraged coldly. Oh, Di Yan said, raising his eyebrows. He was not familiar with the Black Python clan. The reason why he decided to help the Black Python clan was that the insidious man promised him a lovely reward. Now he could get paid 30% more. It was rather tempting for Dian. I can promise you to kill him with all my strength, but I can't make any guarantee. Dian said, as long as you help us, I'll pay you 30% more regardless of the result. The insidious man said, clenching his hands, I don't believe that our preparations during the past years will be ruined by a nobody who is just at eternal realm level. Well, I will do my best, Dian said and moved at the next moment. But on his way toward Jian Wushuang, Dian sneered secretly. He's so dumb as to trust me. He knows nothing about the brat's horrifying defensive ability. I can't kill him even with my full strength. But since he's willing to pay 30% more, I'll put on a good show for him. Dian didn't think about killing Jian Wushuang at all. He just wanted to pretend to go all out and then be defeated by Jian Wushuang. In the end, he could get the extra 30% reward. Watching Dian coming towards him, Jian Wushuang had a weird smile on his face. Jian Wushuang thought, at that time outside of Jin Yu's castle, I was still at a disadvantage when I engaged the old fellow. I could only make him leave using my defensive ability. Back then I didn't create any sword principle nor incredible swordsmanship, but now, I've created 2 sword principles and been able to unleash their power at the same time. Besides, I've created 2 matching unique swordsmanships to greatly promote their battle strength. I'm wondering what will happen if I fight with the old fellow again today. Jian Wushuang wore a cold look and was eager to fight. Kill! With tremendous battle intent, Jian Wushuang shouted in a deep voice. As he moved, he had a face-to-face collision with Dian who came towards him. A burst of overwhelming sword essence immediately exploded at the moment they collided. Jian Wushuang held Blood Mountain's sword tightly with one hand, while Blood Mountain's sword was trembling and emitting bursts of overwhelming power. As fierce lights flashed in his eyes, he shot Blood Mountain's sword directly toward Dian. This move was extremely cold and emotionless. This move was created by Jian Wushuang based on his first sword principle, the coalescent sword principle. This move was named Ruthlessness. Buzz. Emotionlessly, the cold and ruthless sword lights directly appeared in front of Dian and flustered the latter. It was only one swordsmanship, but in Dian's eyes, it was such a strange swordsmanship that seemed to contain several different essence. Humph! Dian snorted and suddenly clapped his wrinkled hands. The power came overwhelmingly like a piece of dark cloud. Whoosh! The strong sword lights swept and completely tore apart the dark cloud. The remaining sword lights still came at Dian. What? Dian was startled. He immediately waved his sleeves to disperse these sword lights. Buzz! A sword shadow had quietly appeared beside Dian. So fast! Dian couldn't help narrowing his eyes. A powerful consciousness attack directly came to him at the moment he saw the sword shadow. It was the perfect combination of swordsmanship and consciousness attack. It was a move named Death Shadow. The sudden consciousness attack directly swept over Dian without any sign. Although Dian was a peak rank 3 Dao master, at this moment he still felt a sharp pain in his consciousness and couldn't help trembling. Nevertheless, he managed to take the consciousness attack. In face of the consciousness attack, he instantly slapped on Jian Wushuang's long sword lightning fast and fended off Jian Wushuang's sword shadow. At the same time, he also retreated. Humph! Jian Wushuang snorted. The power of Blood Mountain's sword in his hand increased greatly, and at the next moment, his swordsmanship was in full swing. Swoosh! 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 The sword shadows chopped, swept, or stabbed. Each of them was lightning fast. They were so fast. Apparently, Jian Wushuang had used his Aurora sword principle to the utmost. Every sword shadow came out lightning fast one after another. The swordsmanship? Dian said in great astonishment. It should be noted that he had a fight with Jian Wushuang more than 20 years ago. Although Jian Wushuang showed great strength at that time, Jian Wushuang was much weaker than him. In terms of swordsmanship, he did not remember Jian Wushuang displayed any remarkable swordsmanship. But now, Jian Wushuang's swordsmanship was much better than before. Although his swordsmanship was almost ordinary and not very powerful, he was so fast and vigorous. Jian Wushuang's power amplifications of 3-star ancient god power and Star River secret skill were 90 times, and the power of blood-killing armor had increased by 10 times in stage 1. Thus, his power had soared. At that time, Jian Wushuang could display the battle strength close to peak rank 3 level without help from any sword principle. Now he had created 2 sword principles. With the help of the 2 sword principles, he had reached the peak of rank 3, which made him even a bit more powerful than Dian. With the fast speed, great strength, and incredible swordsmanship, Jian Wushuang completely overwhelmed Dian at the moment. Dian totally failed to fight back. How is it possible? How is it possible? Dian roared wildly in his heart. It has been less than 30 years since then. How is it possible that he has promoted his strength so much? It's impossible. Dian was drastically astonished. Dian did not know that Jian Wushuang had just spent 2,000 years on cultivation since he was born. What was more, he had spent over 1,200 years rebuilding his body. As an inverse cultivator, he possessed the flawless foundation and the strongest sword heart beyond Dian's imagination. Besides, he had the help from plenty of treasures and opportunities. 30 years was long enough for Jian Wushuang to promote his strength greatly. Dian was overwhelmed. Meanwhile, the battle intent in Jian Wushuang's eyes grew more and more intense, and his swordsmanship was increasingly faster. Retreat! Retreat right away! Dian calmed down. He watched Jian Wushuang in panic, and then retreated immediately when he spotted an opportunity. He fell to the bat category of the Sky-Devouring clan and was talented at speed. Not even Jian Wushuang could capture him if he managed to run. Thus, the fierce battle between them stopped. Up in the void, Jian Wushuang still stood there with tremendous battle intent. He stared at Dian coldly and said, "What a pity! I can barely suppress him in our fight. However, it's not very practical for me to kill him." Jian Wushuang was also reluctant. After all, Dian was a real peak rank 3 Dao master gifted at speed. It was indeed pretty difficult to kill him. Jian Wushuang felt reluctant. People watching their fight were dumbstruck. Jian Wushuang, he defeated a peak rank 3 Dao master? God Hong and numerous experts of the Rock Demon clan looked extremely shocked. God Hong was especially awestruck. He used to fight with Dian. Even with his extremely strong body, he got seriously injured by Dian in less than 2 rounds and withdrew in panic. Dian's great strength made him a top dog in the entire Samsara continent. But now Dian was defeated by Jian Wushuang? Defeated by a young man who was an Eternal Realm expert from the ancient world and was favored by him 2,000 years ago? How did that happen? The insidious man, leader of the Black Python clan, watched all this in surprise and asked. In the meantime, Dian appeared beside him, looking rather miserable. "Did you see that?" Dian said with a trace of anger on his face, while his eyes were also filled with rage. "I've gone all out. But, Mo Lin, let's retreat. With the brat helping the Rock Demon clan, your Black Python clan is unable to exterminate them," Dian said in a deep voice. Mo Lin was the name of the insidious man, leader of the Black Python clan. The insidious man Mo Lin's face was sullen. He looked over at Jian Wushuang and fixed his eyes on him with endless hatred and reluctance. Reluctant, he was very reluctant indeed. This time their Black Python clan prepared everything well and even called in Dian for help at a high cost. They ambushed 4 Dao masters of the Rock Demon clan, seriously injured God Hong, and even had intruded the residence of the Rock Demon clan. Everything went as planned. However, no one had expected that at the brink of exterminating the Rock Demon clan, there came such an incredible Eternal Realm expert from the Rock Demon clan. The Eternal Realm expert killed 8 Dao masters under his command and even defeated Dian. With this Eternal Realm expert helping the Rock Demon clan, Mo Lin clearly knew that it was impossible for their Black Python clan to exterminate the Rock Demon clan today. If they continued their desperate attempts, their Black Python clan might be the one that was exterminated. "Let's retreat," Mo Lin said, while his heart was bleeding. Numerous experts of the Black Python clan retreated. They retreated reluctantly with the bodies of the 8 Tao Masters. At the sight of this, the Rock Demon clan cheered for the victory in great excitement. Jian Wushuang. God Hong led numerous experts of the Rock Demon clan coming up to Jian Wushuang with tremendous gratitude and respect in their eyes. In this world, people always respected the strong. For people of the Rock Demon clan, obviously Jian Wushuang was such a strong expert. Thanks a lot, God Hong said in a solemn voice. He was quite clear that if it were not for Jian Wushuang's help, his clan would probably have been exterminated today. Back then in the ancient world, I was indebted to you. Besides, you've taken good care of me during these years. Certainly, I should pay you back for your favor, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. But it's a pity that I couldn't kill the clan leader of the Black Python clan for avoiding later trouble, because he kept hiding behind, in a distance from me. Now the Black Python clan has retreated, but I'm afraid that they won't let go easily. This time, the Rock Demon clan suffered a great loss, but obviously the Black Python clan suffered more. 8 Tao Masters had been killed by Jian Wushuang, which was enough to distress the Black Python clan greatly. The Black Python clan would definitely take frenzied revenge if they were capable of doing so. God Hong and numerous experts of the Rock Demon clan all looked solemn. They also knew that the crisis had just been resolved temporarily today. Elder God Hong, the 9 sword scars left by Sunrise Sword Emperor is of great use to me. Can I stay in the rift for another period? Jian Wushuang asked. Certainly. God Hong nodded repeatedly and said, You can stay in the rift, no matter how long you want. I've told them not to disturb you. By the way, since you are more powerful than me, it's unnecessary for you to keep calling me Elder. You can directly call me by my name or call me Big Brother Hong like Qing Bin. Then thank you for your treat, Big Brother Hong, Jian Wushuang said with a faint smile. Then he floated out of there and directly headed for the rift where the 9 sword scars were located without talking to those experts of the Rock Demon clan. On his way, Jian Wushuang heard Gu King say, Jian Wushuang, you've created the Aurora Sword Principle and the Death Shadow. The 9 sword scars should be of little use to you now, but you said that you still needed to stay in the rift for meditation for some time. You do it for the Rock Demon clan, right? Gu King. You know me better and better after parasitizing in my body for so long, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. I should help them through. The Rock Demon clan has just suffered from a great loss, and the Black Python clan won't let go easily. If I leave at this moment, I'm afraid that the Rock Demon clan will still be exterminated. In that case, I might as well stay in the residence of the Rock Demon clan for another period. It won't be too late to leave after the Rock Demon clan completely recovered. What's more, although the 9 sword scars are less useful to me than before, they are still of some use. Gu King groaned slightly without saying anything else. Jian Wushuang returned to the rift again and continued his meditation upon sword principle. Numerous clansmen of the Rock Demon clan were uncommonly grateful and respectful to Jian Wushuang. If there were still very few sword principle warriors who had complained that Jian Wushuang kept occupying the rift, now these clansmen expected him to stay there all the time. It brought their clan much more confidence and benefits to have such an incredible expert in their residence. In a grand hall on the territory of the Black Python clan. Asshole! Damned bastard! We were so close to exterminating the Rock Demon clan. Just at this moment, a sword principle expert showed up. Where does the brat come from? Mo Lin, the clan leader, started to roar insanely from the moment he stepped into the hall. On hearing these roars, the experts of the Black Python clan who stepped into the hall at the same time fell into silence, their expressions extremely unpleasant. This time their clan had indeed suffered a double loss. They didn't exterminate the Rock Demon clan. Instead, 8 of their Tao masters had been killed. Master Di Yen, I heard the conversation between you and the brat. You've known him long before, Mo Lin asked, looking toward Di Yen. Di Yen slowly sat down on a throne and began to talk after the hall became silent. I met the brat before indeed. His name is Jian Wushuang. Although he's just an Eternal Realm expert, his battle strength is comparable to that of a rank 3 Tao master due to his bloodline or something else. Over 20 years ago, I used to fight with him. Back then, he could barely survive in the fight. Dian described the fight with Jian Wushuang like this. But actually, Jian Wushuang survived in the fight with great ease. He just could do nothing to Jian Wushuang at that time. Over 20 years ago, his strength was close to rank 3 peak at most. But today... Speaking of this, Dian's face suddenly darkened. He said, "Today he showed the strength which is definitely at the peak level of rank 3. Even I was at a disadvantage in the fight with him. He has made an unimaginably rapid progress indeed." "Bastard," Lin said, clenching his teeth. "Our Black Python clan has prepared for so many years and paid such a high price for it. We must not waste all our previous efforts because of him. We must think of a way to kill him or drive him away. Master Dian, do you have any idea?" Dian narrowed his eye and said, "Jian Wushuang has tremendous strength as well as incredible defensive capability. It's impossible for me to kill him by myself." But, on hearing the word, "but," Lin immediately raised his eyebrows and said, "Master Dian, tell me whatever idea you got. As long as we can kill the brat and exterminate the Rock Demon clan, we can negotiate no matter what price we need to pay." Dian forced a smile and said, "It's not that we can do nothing about it if we really want to kill him. As far as I know, Jian Wushuang killed a gold-clothed deacon of the Samsara Temple before." "A gold-clothed deacon?" Lin was stunned. Gold-clothed deacons can be considered as higher-ups of the Samsara Temple. There are just a few of them. If any of them dies, it will be a great loss for the Samsara Temple. Since Jian Wushuang killed a gold-clothed deacon, the Samsara Temple won't pretend that nothing has happened no matter why he did that." Dian said with a faint smile. "Do you mean that we'll pass on the dirty work to Samsara Temple?" Lin looked over at Dian. "Exactly." Dian smirked. "As far as I know, Samsara Temple has learnt that Jian Wushuang killed one of their gold-clothed deacon. They must be searching for him all these years. Once we inform them of Jian Wushuang's whereabouts, they will certainly send their experts over." "Is that so?" Lin replied. "I happen to be acquainted with another gold-clothed deacon. I'll send a message for him right now so that he can report on Jian Wushuang." "Good." Dian nodded. "In your message, describe Jian Wushuang's strength and defensive power in detail, so that they can send a well-matched opponent." "Right." Lin sent the message at once. It didn't take long for a reply. "The gold-clothed deacon I contacted has filed a report. We'll receive news soon." Lin rejoiced. "Then we'll just wait patiently. In the meanwhile, we'd better watch over Rock Demon Clan and what they are up to," Dian added. "All right." Lin nodded and gave instructions for the arrangement. Peace was soon restored to the city of Black Python Clan. But it was short-lived and lasted only for one day. "Good news. The gold-clothed deacon told me that Samsara Temple has dispatched their expert." Lin cried out with excitement. "Samsara Temple is rather efficient. We've just reported it and their expert set off in less than a day." Dian was elated. "By the way, who did they send?" "A Tao master called Dreamless. I heard he's a rank 8 reincarnator." Lin replied. "Tao Master Dreamless?" Dian squinted as he searched through his memory. His eyes lit up as he recalled the Tao Master. "I remember him," he cried. "Lord Dian, do you know him?" Lin asked. Rank 8 reincarnators were rare in the entire Samsara continent. Although he was a leader of a strong population, Lin was still not in a position to meet the reincarnators. "I've only heard of him. He's indeed a rank 8 reincarnator, as well as a heaven-level law executor. He's one of the well-known top experts in Samsara continent," Dian said with a serious look. "Although he's only at rank 3 peak, he's the best among his peers. Most importantly, he excels at attacking. His offensive power would easily make him the 3rd most powerful celestial master in Green Fire World." "He's that good?" Lin asked, eyes wide. "He could hold the 3rd place among Green Fire World's celestial masters?" When it comes to offensive power, there were many experts such as Emperor Shao and Emperor Yun, who were almost at the level of a celestial master. These experts were much stronger than normal Tao masters at rank 3 peak. But even Emperor Shao dared not to claim the 3rd place with his offensive power. which meant that Dao Master Dreamless was better skilled at offensive power than Emperor Xiao and Emperor Yun. Jian Wushuang is known for his defensive skill. Mediocre Dao Masters of rank 3 peak don't stand a chance in front of him. But Dao Master Dreamless might succeed. I can't ask for anything better. Once Jian Wushuang is killed, Rock Demon Clan will vanish too. Mo Lin cried out with excitement. Let's wait for Dao Master Dreamless. He should be arriving in a few days' time. Dian chuckled. Like Void Temple, Samsara Temple had set up numerous wormholes on Samsara continent. However, their wormholes were not accessible by just anyone, no matter the price offered to grant access. Which is why, while normal people walked on foot, Samsara Temple experts are able to make use of the wormholes for a faster journey. 3 days later, in the void above the city of Black Python Clan, Mo Lin, Dian, and other experts from Black Python Clan all waited in silence. Before long, a bright golden light appeared, making its way towards the crowd. It came to a stop before the crowd, and a figure dressed in a golden robe came into view. A dignified, handsome young man appeared with his magic weapons, which were 2 long spears, behind his back. Mo Lin, Dian, and the others greeted the golden-robed man at once. Leader of Black Python Clan, at your service. Mo Lin bowed respectfully. Black Python Clan? Barely paying any attention to Mo Lin, the Dao Master looked over to Dian instead. He noticed that among these experts, only Dian was at rank 3 peak. Who is this? Dao Master Dreamless asked. I'm Dian at your service. Dian replied modestly. Dian. The Dao Master narrowed his eyes. Sky-devouring bat Dian? Dao Master Dreamless has actually heard of me. What an honor. Dian smiled faintly. Well, there are only 2 sky-devouring members on Samsara continent. One of them is you and the other is your father Empyrean Patriarch. Dao Master Dreamless continued. Your father Empyrean Patriarch is rather brutal. Many great populations and clans, including Samsara Temple, are all afraid of him. As his only son, you'll naturally be noticed by the Samsara Temple. But why are you involved in this matter? I wouldn't dare to interfere with Samsara Temple's affairs. But this time is a coincidence. Mo Lin has asked me to deal with Rock Demon Clan. But alas, Jian Wushuang came along. To be honest, he's rather capable. Although I'm at rank 3 peak, I am no match for him. Dian looked ashamed. Even you can't defeat him? The Dao Master could not help but gave a look of astonishment. He had no idea just how strong Dian really was. But he was aware of how destructive his father Empyrean Patriarch was. Dian, a descendant of Sky-devouring clan and an expert of rank 3 peak, surely would not be lacking in power. But Dian could not defeat Jian Wushuang, which adequately shows how capable the latter was. I heard that he's only at Eternal Realm level. I'd like to meet a man at Eternal Realm level with such battle strength. Dao Master Dreamless eyes flashed with anticipation. Well, let's set off now, Dian suggested. Sure. Dao Master Dreamless nodded. But I must clarify this, I will only deal with Jian Wushuang. I won't intervene in the war between Black Python Clan and Rock Demon Clan. Of course. Both Dian and Mo Lin gave an easy smile. Jian Wushuang was the reason why Black Python Clan could not defeat Rock Demon Clan. If Dao Master Dreamless managed to get rid of Jian Wushuang, whom Rock Demon Clan had been dependent on, Rock Demon Clan will inherently be at Black Python Clan's mercy. Moments later, Dao Master Dreamless appeared from a void before Rock Demon Clan's residences. Dian, Mo Lin, and other experts followed behind the master. Jian Wushuang. Dao Master Dreamless' powerful voice could be heard by the entire Rock Demon Clan. The intensity of the voice shocked even Rock Demon Clan. In the valley, Jian Wushuang was practicing his swordsmanship in solitary. I'm almost there. What's the last component? Brows knitted, he racked his brains for an answer. He had assimilated the coalescent sword principle and the aurora sword formation. The third sword principle was nearly integrated as well. But Jian Wushuang could not overcome the final step to achieve full assimilation. Suddenly, Jian Wushuang, The powerful voice which had rang throughout the entire Rock Demon clan reached the little valley where Jian Wushuang was. Jian Wushuang looked up in the direction of the sound. Brother Wushuang, along with Rock Demon clan's experts, God Hong hurried into the valley. Brother Hong, what's the matter? Jian Wushuang asked. It's the Black Python clan, they're here again. They brought someone to help them this time. God Hong looked worried. Oh, Jian Wushuang nodded. He wasn't surprised. He had fully expected that Black Python clan would not let the matter rest. Who did they bring along? Jian Wushuang asked. I don't know. God Hong shook his head. All I know is that he is good at spears and has a strong aura that is stronger than most experts at the peak of rank 3. But he is not a celestial master. Not a celestial master? Jian Wushuang smirked. Jian Wushuang is well aware of his defense skills. To pose as a threat to him, one must be a celestial master. Since the person who Black Python clan had brought along was not a celestial master, he had nothing to worry about. Gu King, is there anything that can hinder one's movement among the treasures that Dao Yuanzi had left behind? Jian Wushuang doubted. There is. What are you going to do with it? Asked Gu King. The 9 sword scars are losing their power, and I don't intend to stay here anymore. If I can, I'd like to get rid of the Black Python clan once and for all. Jian Wushuang replied. Dao Yuanzi left a large collection of treasures. There are ones which prevents one from running away. Though the only one you'll find helpful will be the dragon trapping array. Gu King added. Dragon trapping array? Jian Wushuang asked. The dragon trapping array is an ordinary spell formation in Eternal Chaotic World, but it's an impressive one in Green Fire World. The spell formation will cast a temporary defensive cover once it's set up. Save for the spellcaster. Anyone trapped within the defensive cover will have their speed of movement reduced. The enemies can't escape within a short period of time. With their speed of movement significantly reduced, you are presented with the opportunity to kill them. Gu King continued. Dao Yuanzi left behind a complete set of dragon trapping array which you may set up secretly. But some chaos gems will be required to cast the spell formation. How many Chao gems are needed? Jian Wushuang asked. It depends on how long you need the formation to last for. On average, to maintain the formation for 15 minutes, you would need 10 chaos gems. Gu King answered. 10 chaos gems for 15 minutes? Jian Wushuang repeated, eyes glowing. For an expert like Jian Wushuang, 15 minutes was sufficient to engage in several rounds of battle. With some extra effort, he will be able to destroy the entire Black Python clan in less than 15 minutes. I'll take the dragon trapping array. Jian Wushuang made the decision and summoned his slaughter body. Take care of them for me, Jian Wushuang ordered, passing an interspatial ring to his slaughter body. Okay. The slaughter body nodded slightly and left with the lightness and fluidity of a ghost. Jian Wushuang, what are you? God Hong and the others couldn't understand what was happening with the appearance of slaughter body. Brother Hong, let's go and meet Black Python clan. Jian Wushuang merely smiled and headed towards the void. In the void before the residences of Rock Demon clan, Dao Master Dreamless headed a group of soldiers while holding long golden spears. The master emitted a strong aura. Swish, 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 swish. In a flash, numerous figures flew before Dao Master Dreamless, floating in the air. Is that the person who Black Python clan is engaging help from? Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes at Dao Master Dreamless. He could feel the pressure that Dao Master Dreamless is giving him. He experienced similar level of pressure when facing Emperor Shao or Emperor Yun. He is likely to be a match for Uncle Shao, Jian Wushuang thought. So, you are Jian Wushuang? Dao Master Dreamless returned the stare. I am. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. I'm Dao Master Dreamless, Heaven-level Law Executor of Samsara Temple. Not long ago, you killed our gold-clothed Deacon Jinyu. Today, I'm here to take your life, the Dao Master declared in a deep tone. The Master's words were a shock to Rock Demon Clan's experts. He's from Samsara Temple? Did Master Wushuang kill a gold-clothed deacon of Samsara Temple? Damn. A law executor from Samsara Temple. This means trouble. The faces of God Hong and others turned white in distress. Jian Wushuang simply wore a faint smile and asked the master, Tao Master Dreamless, may I know how are you going to take my life? I'll kill you right here. The Tao Master retorted coldly and darted towards Jian Wushuang. Shoo! A terrifying noise resonated throughout the void. Tao Master Dreamless shifted from his original position to where Jian Wushuang was in an instant. His long golden spears were aggressively directed at Jian Wushuang. Those spears! Jian Wushuang regarded the intimidating gold spears that pierced through the void and left a damaged portal. Though shocked, Jian Wushuang managed to draw his blood mountain sword, which was quaking with power. Ruthlessness! With a shout, he struck. A stifling power blanketed the area. The strike was ruthless and direct. Clang! The edge of the sword and the tip of the long gold spear clashed, shattering the void nearby. Jian Wushuang's arms trembled at the force of the blows, and he could not help but stagger back. His power is astounding, Jian Wushuang exclaimed to himself. In terms of strength, the Tao Master was far superior to him. Go! With another shout, Tao Master Dreamless lunged out with his gold spear again. Chew! 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 He struck 3 more times, every blow fast and terrifying as a venomous snake. With cold resolve in his eyes, Jian Wushuang brandished his blood mountain sword. Since Jian Wushuang had devised the Aurora sword principle, he was able to keep up with the Tao Master's speed. Clang! 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 Jian Wushuang's arms shivered at the force of each blow. Humph! Jian Wushuang lashed out at the Tao Master's neck with all of his strength. Death Shadow! Clang! Light flashed off his sword as Jian Wushuang launched an immaterial consciousness attack. Tao Master Dreamless went still at the attack but recovered quickly and struck again. He easily warded off the Death Shadow and forced Jian Wushuang to retreat. Once again. Suddenly, the Tao Master's fighting seemed to improve. He struck continuously, sometimes stabbing, sometimes slashing, and sometimes even throwing out the length of his spear. Every blow the Tao Master launched was formidable. He was far more capable than an ordinary Tao Master at the peak of rank 3. He's too powerful. Though Jian Wushuang could keep up with his opponent's speed, the latter was much stronger. Every time he blocked a blow, Jian Wushuang's remaining strength dwindled. All the consecutive strikes were beginning to test his endurance. Damn it! I can't do it anymore. Jian Wushuang was pale-faced and trembling, and he could no longer ignore the sharp pain in his arms. All of his strength left him suddenly. Tao Master Dreamless lashed out with his spear. The force of the blow dented the Blood Mountain sword. Vehemence gleamed in the Tao Master's eyes. Ultimate dragon killing. Chew! A blinding golden light emerged. The light shone like a golden sun before it barreled toward Jian Wushuang. Everywhere the light touched, the void shattered. The single strike of the spear seemed to destroy everything. Jian Wushuang squinted at the strike and attempted to block it. His Blood Mountain sword fell to the side and failed to ward off the impact, which hit him square in the chest. Clang! A clash resounded. What? The Tao Master looked up in surprise. A crimson mist from his robe covered Jian Wushuang's entire body. The tip of the spear wounded Jian Wushuang, but failed to fatally pierce him. Shoo! The force of the blow threw Jian Wushuang back. He grunted from the impact and coughed up blood. Jian Wushuang was wounded. Even with the blood-killing plate armory, Jian Wushuang was wounded by the spear. It was the first time that he had been hurt after he became a 3-star ancient god and acquired the blood-killing plate armor. Under normal circumstances, even with a direct hit, Jian Wushuang would remain unscathed. When Di Yan had landed a blow on Jian Wushuang, he was not only unharmed, but had somehow caused Di Yan to break a tooth. The fact that the Tao Master was able to wound Jian Wushuang was a testament to his abilities. The observers, however, were amazed that Jian Wushuang was not more seriously injured. He's only slightly injured after taking a hit like that in the chest? My God! How strong is his defensive power? It is really insurmountable. The crowd roared and bellowed. God Hong widened his eyes. I've awakened my rock demon giant bloodline, and I'm a master in defense. But even if I became 10 times stronger, I still couldn't ward off that blow. How is he only slightly injured? The crowd was astounded. Even Tao Master Dreamless himself was surprised. You're not badly injured? Tao Master Dreamless. Dian continued with a serious voice. Even though you can't kill him with one strike, he's injured now, and all you have to do is continue to attack. Soon, he'll be defeated. I have to keep attacking? The Tao Master considered the action, but his expression suddenly changed. He noticed Jian Wushuang's expression. During the previous round of battle, Jian Wushuang must have known the outcome. Jian Wushuang was supposed to look shocked or terrified, or at least disheartened at being injured in such a fashion. Instead, Jian Wushuang seemed pleasantly surprised. Yes, he was surprised, perhaps even elated. That blow! Jian Wushuang yelled in his heart as his eyes flashed with excitement. Tao Master Dreamless strike was powerful and overwhelming. Almost no one could have blocked it. Jian Wushuang was inspired by it. Such power! So violent and overpowering! Isn't this just what I need to devise the third sword principle?